Hi, welcome back to Midnight Mayhem. I'm your host today, Bobby, and I love horror.
I'm Leo, and I love movies.
And I'm Raymond, the other guy.
Oh, that was a little awkward.
I was waiting for Raymond to say something.
I'm not the movie guy.
I said my line. I looked up at them, and they're both looking intimately into each other's eyes. I was like, okay.
I was like, who's gonna talk first?
Who's gonna make the first move?
Well, today we are going to take a look at the new. Would you call it a remake? Would you call it a continuation? The new installment in the Evil Dead franchise.
I'll call it a little bit of both.
A little bit of everything.
I wanted to say we just got back from the theater. Guess what we saw? The Mario movie.
This is why we got to rehearse beforehand.
So we just got out of the theater to watch Evil Dead Rises. Just came out this year.
Yeah. Overall, very fun. We're going to give you some light opinions right off the bat, and then we'll jump into spoilers. So we'll probably put a timestamp or some kind of mark or say something that, hey, at this point, be warned that there's going to be spoilers going forward.
Yeah, we're going to have to talk about spoilers anyway, so.
We're not, or we are?
No, we are.
Oh,
we
yeah,
are,
I know.
Yeah.
But I'm saying for
we
this
have
moment,
to.
We'll just give our opinions, general idea what we thought of the movie.
Should you go see it in theaters? Would you prefer to wait for it on streaming? Well, what's the deal?
I would say go watch it in theaters. Definitely go watch it in theaters because of the sound design. You need to be in a room with a good sound system. I mean, unless you have a really good sound system at home with a really good subwoofer, but it definitely makes the experience a lot better in theaters. I would say go watch it in theaters. Yeah.
Raimundo?
I say watch it in theaters. I think there was. It's not something where I was like, oh, let me just turn this on. I need a relaxing night.
I, again, would also recommend watching in theaters. It's quite the experience in itself. Now, I was pretty hyped going into this. I'm not sure if I'll show the recording of me right before, but I look like a child that just ate a pound of sugar. I was like, let's go! We were supposed to wait to watch it together, and I was like, hey guys, you know how I said Evil Dead 2013 was the best viewing experience of my entire life? Can we go watch it on opening night?
Remember how Evil Dead 2013 molded my personality for the next 10 years?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, can we go watch an opening night? And then
everybody was busy. Everybody
was busy. We're all adults. Yeah.
We just waited a couple days, but
I was a child and I decided to go watch it.
He couldn't wait 2 days.
Hell yeah! I had to work at 5 a.m. I was like, well, let's go. Turns out midnight premieres are not just midnight anymore. You can watch them at 8 p.m.
Yeah, you want to go to the midnight premiere? Starts at 5 p.m.
That's how old I am, man. So I went to go watch it. Did a little bug. Went into it just super enthusiastic, and then I walked out liking it, not loving it, and that made me incredibly sad. Now, again, I strongly recommend this for anyone who is a big fan of horror, especially loves chaotic horror. But I feel like I should have dampened my expectations a bit, because this is Sam Raimi at the top of his game, the man who's made all the Spider-Man movies, the original Evil Dead. It's like when Ridley Scott came back to direct Prometheus. And
it's funny that you say that, because there was a couple scenes that reminded me of one of the Alien movies.
Yeah,
and we'll get
into it later. Yeah, but I was just like, man, this is the original creator. I know I'm gonna love it, but also it was unfortunate that I didn't, and I'll get into that later. But it's not a bad movie by any regard. If anything, I think it's a fantastic horror movie. I would not take my wife or my mother to go see it. Maybe my mom.
If you were mad at them and just like, oh, you guys want to watch a family movie?
No, my wife's pregnant, so imagine if I took her to see that.
Because when my wife was pregnant, we went to go see Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. And I knew stuff was gonna go down in that movie.
Because it was Sam Raimi.
The baby's gonna pop out halfway through the movie, But I get what you're saying. I'm gonna ask this because I know my opinion on it. I don't know Leo's opinion. I'm pretty sure I do. You think better or worse than the 2013 remake?
I know my opinion.
Well, I mean, I know my opinion
ready?
too.
Ready? Let's get giddy. Let's get giddy. We're all saying it on 3. Ready?
At the count of 3.
What's
1, 2, 3. No.
Worse. 2013 is better.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2013.
Still a fun movie. I'm not gonna say they're equally as good.
See, what gets me is because I try not to look at reviews, critics, or anything beforehand. Same thing with our audience. I prefer you guys just make your own decisions about stuff. If you want to go see it, go see it. we're just kind of giving you like direct insight. We're being honest with you. That's most of our channel is just, hey, this is legit what we think, and
the most honest thing I can say is that this episode will definitely be out after this is out of theaters. So
hopefully not.
If you watch it in theaters, cool. If not, better luck next time.
What was it? See, today we're gonna do a video, and I combed my hair and everything, so now I just look pretty for you guys.
I appreciate it. I forgot we were gonna record a video, so I haven't shaved. My hair's not cut. The scene in Incredibles when he like looks at his stomach and he's like, "Oh, that's how I feel right now." I was like, "Oh, okay, good. We're not doing video today."
No, yeah, we were gonna do a video, but technical difficulties, low memory,
so
kind of
low
stuff.
budget.
We're going right back into it. So, again, number system, because I feel like that's the easiest way to grade things sometimes. I'd give this movie a solid 8 out of 10. I do think it was a good horror movie, better than average. I do not think it is anything insanely special like you would see on, I think it was, what was it? Rotten Tomatoes gave it like a 9.6 or something.
Maybe. IGN.
It legit was.
I think IGN gave it a 9.
They were all about
Rotten
9.
Tomatoes in the beginning, it was like at 100.
I was like, do you guys just not watch good horror movies?
I don't like those reviews because they also gave like Mario like a 50. I liked it.
Oh, out of 10. Out of 100. I got you.
Out of 100, yeah. Or it was like 55 or whatever. So I was like, oh, like.
They're like,
I feel like the
protagonists.
The critics are kind of just like, I want to be different. If somebody says they don't like a movie, I'm going to say it's amazing, and vice versa.
Now, the thing is that, like I said, I didn't love it. I liked it a lot because, like, Sam Raimi's filming style, his everything, his directing is fantastic. I felt like I cared about each character as it progressed. It also didn't help that, or it also did help that my older brother's name is Daniel, and the older brother was named Daniel, and that was just the funniest thing because I was like, yeah, I would tell him not to do that. He would do that. I was like, but I understand the motivation behind each character. I enjoyed why they did what they did, but I just it felt like it was too contained within itself. I heard some people criticize the movie about it being like kind of too silly towards the end or not exploring enough options, and I was like, I guess, but we're also talking about an audience of the main characters being a family where it's like your main priority is the kids. You're not thinking about everything else that's going on.
Because I do want to get into spoilers soon, but I was gonna say it's funny how you kind of hype yourself up because I was talking to Leo a little bit earlier, and we were basically saying like, oh, the people who had problems with the movie, or the people who hyped it up too much for themselves.
It's like, it's because I'm a fan. Like, I love this.
No, I know. I understand. I'm saying it's funny how that's kind of how it affected you as well.
Yeah.
Someone who avoided reviews, avoided watching
trailers,
the
avoiding
I
trailers,
only watched
everything.
one trailer, and I had to negotiate it with Leo, and Leo was like, Bobby, I'll rewatch 2013 with you right now if you watch the trailer after. I was like, bet.
Anything to rewatch 2013.
Because when the trailer came out, it was such
Right
a hype. It was such a hype when the trailer came out.
Yeah, and I think it lived up to the hype of the trailer, but it didn't live up to the hype I had in my heart for Evil Dead. Like, and that's what kills me. It kills me because it was a good movie.
I
watch shittier movies.
I feel like Evil Dead is such an interesting franchise where people are gonna say, oh, it's not gory enough, or oh, it's not campy enough.
Mm-hmm. This one tried to be.
I think it was good on both.
It was good
on both.
It's good on both, but it didn't have enough, I think, of either.
Dude, I was having.
Yeah, because when they were trying to when they were trying to be funny, I feel like there was like 3 or 4 scenes that were funny.
They were good.
Yeah, they were funny, but it wasn't like
it was like a Marvel hey, let's make it
really
yeah. So like that's why I liked
that
it.
Painful.
No. And then when it was trying to be like gory, like it was gory. There was a lot of scenes though, and I feel that they were kind of like.
I'm dying to hear this. So just write off your numbers, and we'll jump straight into spoilers. But
okay.
I said 8 out of 10, and that hurts me to say too, because I
mean 8 out of 10 is not bad.
I went into my car and was like, "Is something wrong with me?" Like,
no, it's not bad. It's not bad.
Am I just sad? Like, do I just not enjoy it? Because it's been 10 years.
Because Raymond, what would you give it?
Honestly, I'd probably give it like maybe a 7.5.
I give it an 8 out of 10. To be honest,
all right.
I give it an 8 out of 10.
Oh, my little brother went to go see this with me because again I was gonna go watch it by myself.
Uh-huh.
Like a sad old man.
Yeah, and my brother was like, he hates horror. He doesn't enjoy horror very much.
Really?
Yeah, and he's like, he watched it and he was like, it was solid. I could see your critiques, Bobby, but I would give it an 8 out of 10. And I was like, all right, I respect that. I respect that for someone who doesn't like any bit of horror to go and watch it and be like, yeah, they went for it. But I don't, I forget that a lot of people who are younger than us, like didn't grow up with the torture porn that we had for
like the
for
Saw
movies.
The
franchise.
Saw
the
franchise,
Hostel.
Hostel franchise.
And I'm not saying that this movie's by comparison like gory in that way, but it's more like
I don't think it's a torture porn movie.
no.
It's definitely
The
not.
point
No,
I'm
it's
making
definitely
is
not.
that I feel like a lot of people, like a lot of casual horror viewers, or at least like people who don't really watch horror movies, have never been exposed to that level. And
Yeah.
so this is probably
So they're like,
oh my god.
Like I feel like a newer age like horror fan is gonna watch this like, oh, they're just trying to go over the top. It's like, no,
or
this
they're
is
gonna be like, this was balls to the walls, like
crazy gory and
everyone
stuff.
I heard was like, everyone's reactions I saw online, like that were younger audience members were like, this is the scariest movie.
This
It
is
was
the goriest
fantastic.
movie.
And
Disgusting.
I'm like, is their hype because they haven't seen anything on that level?
yeah.
Is that
Is this like their
the
first time?
generation thing?
Maybe,
Their first
maybe.
time eating
Like,
sugar-
like, that's
like,
how
is
I feel, man.
It's like, is this their first time eating sugar? Like, is this like, are they just extra hyper?
That's
because
a
they've
good
never
point.
seen
That's
it?
a good point.
And
That's a
then
really
all
good
this-
point.
I told you, I was in the car having like an inner spectrum, like, oh my god, crisis of my age.
Yeah,
Like,
because I remember a lot of people were really hyping it up. They're like, oh, there's, I mean, I don't know when we're gonna jump into scenes,
we're
but
literally after this, but I just
Okay,
gotta get that off my chest
alright,
because
yeah.
when we were in the theater when I was rewatching this with you right now, I
Yeah.
was just like, motherfuckers, they're talking about you so bad.
So right
Yeah,
before,
no,
right
same.
before we jump into spoilers, I do want to say this much. I don't know if I was overanalyzing the movie, but the way they introduced a lot of the set pieces just really stuck out to me.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I think I was in the same thing because
Yeah.
I watched a bunch of other ones and I'm just
what do
like,
you mean the way they introduce set pieces?
So
like-
they'll introduce a character, they're doing something, and it's like, oh, like that's definitely gonna come back later in the movie, and then you'll see them doing something else, like in a separate room, like okay, this is gonna come back in a later scene.
foreshadowing.
Yeah, and everything that I saw
Came
like,
back.
while I was watching it came back.
Yeah,
Okay,
I-
Almost
okay.
exactly how I thought it would come.
I appreciated it though, because they threw a couple monkey wrenches in there where they're like, this seems important or this line seems like it's something, and it was just like you're. I felt like that was an Easter egg or like a reference to the audience that he knew he was gonna have Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell in this. Like he knew that we were gonna be looking for this kind of stuff, and so
Yeah.
throwing a couple monkey wrenches in there to throw us off, I enjoyed that.
I mean, I feel like the whole movie was just an entire foreshadowing. Like literally, the entire movie was just an entire foreshadowing film because, first of all, the book foreshadows the whole movie.
Yeah, but they always do.
The
Except for
beginning
original.
foreshadows the ending.
Yeah.
So it's like I feel like the whole movie is just like a constant foreshadow of what's gonna happen. Because it's like whether they talk about scenes, whether they flip a page in the book is tell you what's gonna happen. Like I said, the opening scenes foreshadowing the ending. Like it's just. I mean, yeah, it's an entire thing of foreshadowing.
Yeah.
All right, so
all right,
3, 2, 1. Spoilers ahead. Skip if you want. Listen if you don't
Nah,
care.
don't skip. We're gonna go into it.
Yeah,
Let's
just
go.
Just
All
watch
right,
it.
and
Leave
I'm
it
sorry
out
if my
in the
audio
background.
is a little loud. I was told to speak up more, so
Let's-
I'm like maintaining between like 15 and 10 as I speak. I'm like,
Nah,
"Damn,
you're
wow."
good. You're good. Let's do this. Let's talk about.
Let's just
Let's
have
kind of
at
go.
it.
Let's go through the motions of the movie, and then we'll talk about the scenes as they come up.
All right, opening scene.
I will say this much: I was getting popcorn during the opening
Yeah,
scene.
he
I,
missed it.
I caught the tail end of it. I caught the good part.
Yeah, he caught the part where
I didn't get the fanfare.
the moment the brunette walked into the
Yeah, the blonde chick. She's
not blonde.
she's not blonde.
She's not blonde.
Oh,
blonde
the
chick
other
was
one.
possessed.
Oh yeah.
We're talking about the lady who was reading.
Okay,
I
yeah.
got hyped as hell because I was already insanely hyped going into this movie. And I
Yeah.
was the moment they showed me that book, I was reading it. I was like,
Yeah,
let me in, let me in, let me in.
Something's
I
important.
was like, come on. And then,
No.
and then she started reading it out loud. She
Yeah.
started saying what the book was saying. I was like, yes.
Tell me about the opening scene because the part that I missed, you mentioned it to me, and I thought that would have been fantastic to see.
I was a giddy child throughout the whole damn thing. I was literally just like, I saw the camera movements. I was like, oh, that's my boy. That's Sam Raimi.
Yep, exactly.
Look at that zoom and look at that drone. I was like, hell, I hope that's a zip line going across that lake or something. Like, and it opens up with this aerial shot of like how all the demons come in possessing something.
Yeah, how the classic like Evil Dead
Yes.
camera angle.
Evil
And
did, yeah.
It's coming in from a sky view down through the like I think it's like a river or lakeside, and it zooms in on this one girl who's reading on a pier or like a dock.
Right, yeah, it's
And then
dark.
she gets scared, and then it's a drone, and it's like, oh, nice little fake out. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Hey, he knows what I want.
Like you thought it was just gonna go
Yeah.
like, right off the bat, or just
Like,
like,
just
oh
go
no,
ham.
like,
Like, what's going on?
Mhm.
And then we get the introduction to the childish boyfriend who is like Death's father, or just gonna be there
Yeah.
for whatever.
Just add to the body count.
just add to the body count.
But you're also hoping, like, I'm always hoping for a light subvertive expectations. Maybe this guy ends up being a good dude, and he was. My man, well, again, we're in spoiler territory. My man jumped into a lake to save his possessed girlfriend. He knows she was possessed, but went to go save her regardless.
He should have known. She grabbed a drone.
Yeah, but he doesn't know what's going on. Like,
jumps in the lake, she grabs his leg, drowns.
Yeah, no, he jumped in. I was like, respect.
Now,
Respect.
what do you guys
You
think
skipped
of
over
that?
The scalping scene.
Yeah, because I'm just like, that was just genuine fun. I'm just go for it. I'm talking.
Okay,
too much.
yeah,
I'm
we're
just
just jumping all over
My
the place.
energy has been like down
We're
here.
jumping all
I've
over
been
the
holding
place.
on a bottle cap. Go. Speak.
So talk about that scalping scene. So
Enjoy, just
one of our friends. So we have 3 people: the boyfriend, the blonde chick, and then the nerdy chick. Friend of the blonde chick, right? I forgot what their names were.
cousin,
The single
honestly.
one, like
Yeah. So we got the girlfriend, the boyfriend, and the friend of the girlfriend, I guess you could say. The girlfriend she's like not feeling well. She's sick or something, so she's in the cabin.
in the woods.
In the woods, yeah. And so like
Hey,
the boyfriend's
all there,
messing with the
checklist.
drone and stuff like that. It's like, yo, did you check on your girlfriend? It's like, yeah, she's still sick, but that's how she is. Go check on her. She goes and check on her, and then like she's doing that whole possessed thing,
Yeah, when you do how you act. When
Yeah,
you're possessed,
Mm-hmm.
and
General stuff. All good.
Yeah,
Gave me
general
a good
stuff,
Gave
yeah.
me that nice little chill down my spine. I was like, oh, all delicious.
exactly.
Just me nomming on my food. I was just like, hell yeah, let's go, baby. I know this is Evil Dead. All right, then what happened?
Falls over the bed. Friend goes to check on
I think
her.
that was another one of the scenes where it's like, oh, it's kind of funny.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it
It's
like
happens
she
out of a
just-
sudden. She just
falls
falls over,
She's-
and you
she's
just
laying
hear.
down.
But it
She's
was
like,
eerie. It was nice.
Sure, yeah.
She's laying down, and then she's reading her book, and then you just look up, and the girl's like sitting up on the bed, and then she starts reading from the book that she's not looking at, and then the brunette chick is kind of freaking out, and then she just falls off the bed
Yeah,
and starts like seizing, right?
yeah.
Yep.
She starts.
And she throws up, and then it seems to be the indicator that once you throw up, you are now officially possessed going forward.
There's a lot. Yeah, I was gonna say
That
there's a lot
was-
of throw up in this movie.
That was and then notice that it's like white, so I'm guessing either
it's
ectoplasm.
foamy.
Ectoplasm or it's a kink.
Yeah, maybe. But in my mind, I was thinking like, oh, it's white, pure. Maybe it has something to do with that. Maybe it's like, oh, they're coughing up the innocence, like whatever was left of that soul. I might be looking too much into it.
I think maybe.
I was
too much
insanely
into it.
excited, guys. I have no idea how to explain this to you.
So she
didn't-
goes to help her friend, the blonde chick. She's moving her head to the side. You know the stuff you're supposed to do when somebody's having a seizure.
And
And then she wakes up and she grabs her hair and she's just completely scalps her head
and
right off the bat.
we get a nice dialogue where it was like, what was it? It was the who's the brain dead or who's the brainless something now, like
Something
Jolt.
like that, yeah.
I was like, yeah, and then we get this shot of someone staggering towards the dock where the boyfriend's playing with his drone.
And that's what we talked in the beginning,
and that's I'm assuming the people have watched it. They wait till the spoiler in. So the
And even if you walked into the wrong theater by mistake and this would be the first like 2 minutes you see.
yeah. So this is basically the wind up. This is what gets you growing for this movie.
Yeah.
Not to compare it too much to the remakes or the originals, but the remake had that scene where I love you, baby girl, like his daughter, and he shoots her in the face.
Yeah, you know what?
That's the hype comparison I'm going into this with.
Yeah.
And like you're just like, it starts off with a girl running in the woods, she gets bagged over her head. I'm talking about 2013 Evil Dead. And then she gets knocked out, and then she's on a post about to be burnt at the stake, and her father's there. She's about to shoot her. In the
This
face.
one went a little more
This one
in
was
on
like,
it than the
yeah,
2013
it was
one.
literally a reference for the audience. Like,
Yeah.
hey, you love horror? Look at all. We're hitting all these story beats. Look at this pan out shot. Look at this, like, look at we have all the generic characters, and then yeah. So that I was very happy now, and we're about to get to my first major critique of the film.
Is it still part of the cold open?
I'll tell you right. It's right after.
Okay.
So, to finish it off, basically the possessed girlfriend basically grabs a drone, shoves into her face, and knocks her into the water. The boyfriend immediately jumps in after her, no hesitation. He's literally just like, "Oh my god!" Jumps in, and then you hear the cousin or the friend, the one that was single, say, "Oh no!" And then he jumps in, and it's already too late. And so we already know it's like endgame at this point for them.
Yeah.
We know that this was basically a sign up for death. This was what was going to prepare us for what comes next.
Yeah, there's just a quick Jaws scene,
Yeah,
and then the
she
evil spirit
arises.
raises from the lake.
You see the
and
title
And
card.
a very enjoyable rising title card, like the Star Wars credits from the beginning. I loved it so much, and then we hit my first critique of the film, and it goes one day earlier, and I was like, no way, like, No.
You know what? I
That's why
I got
completely.
upset. I was like,
There
Well-
wasn't a record scratch. It was like, yep, that's me.
Well, here's
Like,
the
if
thing,
anyone
here's
had
the
that
thing.
Situation.
I completely forgot that happened until the very end.
It bugged me.
Because
It
I,
bugged me
I
so
was like,
much.
a day earlier.
That
What does that
bothered me
matter?
when it happened? But yeah,
I
I
just
forgot
forgot-
about it. You
about
forgot
it
until the end.
I forgot about it till the end.
It
Yeah.
literally distracted me the whole film. I was like, no, like, cause I don't like. I'm gonna sound like Morty from Rick and Morty, but I'm like,
Yeah.
like I want my story to start where it starts, end where it ends, or give me like an Easter egg, something, like I don't want to. I'm like, okay, so then that means either everyone's gonna die or it's gonna continue the possession some way, like, and watching the movie, I'm like, now everyone here
I could see that as a spoiler, but
For me, 'cause
I
you
didn't
know
really
how-
see it as an issue.
You're talking about the dude who doesn't watch trailers because he don't want to see something by accident. To have this one day earlier, I was like, if they hadn't even put the one day and just immediately started the day off,
Honestly,
and
that's
then ended it with the girl from the
yeah.
thing, how much more satisfying would that have
That
been?
would have been a
That
lot
would've
more
been- that would've
fascinating.
been
Yeah,
really
yeah,
sad.
that would have
My
been really
brother told me
good.
something that I thought was really unique, and I was like, because it was obviously hitting story beats, right? It was showing us that they know, obviously Sam Raimi knows what he's going for.
Mhm.
He knows. Look at his kid. Look at the filmography. Everything's fantastic. And then it felt like, I don't know. It is a weird to bring it back in time. My brother had suggested, imagine if they had just done the opening, like not the opening. They just did the movie from where the movie should have started
Right.
from the beginning. We see the little girl get possessed, and then like mid credit or like after credit scene, just put the beginning of the movie there and see how the audience would have reacted. To have like a whole like just
Because they did do a title card at the end of the movie, didn't they? As well.
no.
Yeah, they did.
They did?
Yeah, but it was like just like
You saw this movie
cuts to
twice.
black. It cuts to
I'm
black and it
still upset
shows
about seeing-
Evil Dead Rise. Like
Oh, okay. Then yes, they did that.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
so
if they
the orchestra wasn't even that loud either.
didn't even do the title card then, and then if they added it at the end, I think that would have been nice.
It wouldn't have
But I think it would have taken away from the impact. Like the movie starting off with the drone shot, making it seem like the demon possessing that. That's
But
a good way to start the movie.
But the excitement is from me telling you about it because you missed that part. So did you think that was a good opening?
I thought
murder spree in the beginning, basically.
that was a decent opening.
It felt like it could have hit more hype. Like
I thought that when she was in the lake and she's rising up with the credits, that was
That
cool.
was awesome.
That was
like,
awesome.
Woo, I'm so pumped.
The
Remember,
scalping scene, that was cool too. The
Mike,
whole,
rocking in my chair at the theaters, like
her hitting her face with the drone, that
Seemed
it wasn't.
unnecessary.
It was. I was no. It didn't seem like
Body
unnecessary.
six
It just. It didn't like. It wasn't like as like.
It seemed
Oh
Evil
God,
Dead-ish.
like yeah, because like
it wasn't
you
a
just
cheese grater.
no. It just like she
that
just
man.
hits her face and like the drone kind of like
Launches her.
ricochets off her face and then she just falls in the water.
yeah.
It would have been crazier if like slowly the blades
And
start cutting
I
her
thought she was just
cheek.
gonna hold it to her face.
Yeah,
And, cut her.
yeah, me
But it
too.
just knocked her into the water, and I was like, oh, okay. Like
Yeah, like it just the drone ricochets off her face. She jumps in the water.
I'm okay with letting that part go for that epic title card raise. Oh yes, the symphony play, and then the one day earlier, and I was like you just undid how hyped I was, because now I feel like I know.
now you know something's gonna.
So, like I already know, like something.
You know they're not gonna win.
That's most horror movies are like that, but I never have it thrown in my face right before I'm about to experience it. That's what it is.
Yeah. See, I didn't have a problem with it, but now that you brought it up, now I'm gonna think about it.
It bugged me. It bugged me so much, and I was like, man. I was like, it's okay. I was like, it's all right. I know. I'm like, at least I know where this is gonna end. Let's enjoy the rest of this film.
Yeah.
And so then I enjoyed the character setup. How did you guys like that? We start off. I'm not gonna go too much in the story, but literally, it's
Yeah, we're gonna.
sister finds out she's pregnant. Goes to her older sister for
Yeah.
advice.
And now we meet the main characters of the movie.
And yes, and then we get these. What the little girl's name was.
Let me check.
Kathy, right? I'm sorry.
Cassie.
Cassie. Sorry, Cassie. That's I remember that.
Cassie from
Bridget.
Ant-Man.
Bridget was the older sister,
Bridget was the older sister.
and then Daniel.
Danny was the brother.
And then Beth was the groupie girl from the
That
band
was the
who
sister
thinks
that-
she's pregnant. Well,
There's
she's
a lot-
pregnant.
She ain't no groupie.
She's the main.
Yeah.
She's the main character.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Nah, in my opinion, Kathy was, dude. Holy shit.
The little girl's the main character.
Oh yeah, okay, she was the main character.
No way.
I think she was the most harmed by these events, but
No, she was-
I 100% believe that the Beth was the main
I know
character.
Beth was like the Ash, but she was not the focal point. And I'm sorry because I didn't double check the actors' names before we went into this. But what was the
For
name of the
Beth?
mother?
For mother is Alyssa Sutherland.
But,
Alyssa.
I was supposed to double check what she
The character named Ellie.
Ellie. She was fantastic as possessed and everything. Oh, holy crap! I loved her performance throughout this entire film.
Mhm.
I don't know if you guys disagree or do.
No, she's great. No, she was great in the
fantastic.
movie.
Yeah,
I mean,
holy shit, her performance literally chilled me
I'm-
to the bone. I was like, woo.
I'm upset that she was kind of sidelined.
Yes,
I
agree.
felt I felt like
I
she
agree.
was this movie's basement demon.
Yes.
So instead of her being in the basement, just being trapped in there, just kind of tormenting the people.
You're
she was
right,
in
yeah.
that way.
I was okay with that as well, but my thing is that like once she did get possessed, I was like, I literally went over to my brother and knocked on his thing. I was like, all right, gloves are off, balls to the walls, everything's going, and it felt like it took a bit to get going where it wanted to go. Like the movie had high points, but they didn't stay. Like, am I the only one who felt that way?
yeah, you're right.
Like the moment she's cracking the eggs, right? I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, like in a normal Evil Dead movie, this family's dead. Like 2 people are dying right here because they're not gonna escape from this. So then it elevates it. It's like it gets to its peak. She's like, I can't. And I love this line. She's like, I had a dream that I cut you all open and cried inside you, and foreshadowing to the fact that they do that to her. They
Yeah.
go back inside her mom's womb.
Yeah, I was
fucked
silent to
up.
Leo. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, like that's interesting that they came back to that.
Yeah.
And he goes,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I guess they did.
And again, we're in spoiler territory, so I'm not warning you. But yeah, they crawl into her stomach, and I loved it. I loved
Towards the end.
Yeah,
Towards the end.
but I loved the Abomination. I loved it so much. I know some
Yeah.
people thought it was cheesy. Some people thought it was stupid.
No, it was
I
great.
loved it.
No, it was great,
Oh,
but
I'm
I'm
going to
just
say
touching
this
on it.
real quick.
Go on,
In
go
the
ahead.
cold open,
Yeah.
did the guy when his head was ripped off and he threw it back on the dock? Did that look off to anyone?
it
Yeah,
did look off. The
Yeah, it looked
CGI.
CG.
It
Yeah.
looked,
It
it,
looks
didn't, it
CG.
didn't look it looked CG, but it looked like also really bad practical effects.
It looked like practical effects mixed with CG. So it
Yeah.
looked
The
like
head, the
eye
head
twitch.
was practical, but the face was CG.
Yeah, that's
So when I
exactly what it
saw
was.
that,
yeah.
I was worried for the rest of the movie that
Yeah.
it might not be as good as I thought it would
Yeah,
be.
yeah.
When I
But
saw
they
that-
quickly brought it back.
When I
Yeah,
saw that,
yeah,
I
definitely.
The moment I saw that scene, I was like, okay, I'm expecting cheesiness going forward. Like if that's the opening shot, I'm expecting something ridiculous to happen, like someone slip on a tongue or something where it's super
And something
dumb.
similar does happen. We'll get into that when we get to that part of the story.
Yeah, but that's the level I put my mindset into it.
Yeah.
And then I got the one day earlier, and then it was like, okay, all right, whatever.
Okay,
Like,
so
then
let's try and go through the story. I'm gonna try and
Yeah,
I'm gonna try
yeah.
and go through it as I remember.
Go
and
for it,
then
go
just
for
feel
it.
free to stop me when
go.
you have something to say.
Yeah.
So girls like, oh hey, I might be pregnant. So she goes back to her sister's house. Her sister's just kind of there with her moms. You have like kind of the generic like Disney character channel family, where it's like, oh, this my mom's a little quirky. Like my sister's an activist. The brother's like a whatever. Like, I'm an
DJ, wannabe
aspiring
DJ.
DJ, and the little girl's just weird. Which I notice is a trend in newer movies where it's like, oh, here's this like quirky little girl.
Yeah.
So we're introduced to all these characters.
That's fair. That's fair.
And then the sister comes in, gets punched in the nose, which I thought was hilarious.
it was all hilarious. Yeah.
So
Fun
then
interaction.
they're just kind of talking to each other, and she goes, "Hey, like I need to, like I brought you guys all presents. Like this one's for your husband." And she's
And
like,
then the
"Hey, like
awkwardness
I
of
got
that,
I got
yes.
news for you.
He
I'm
left.
gonna go send the kids out. Like we should talk." So she sends the kids out. She's like, "Hey, my husband left me. I don't know what happened." And the person who I think the main character is, this Beth, is like, "Oh, you should have called me. Like I would have been there for you." And then she's like, "I did call you. You never showed up." And she's like, so why are you here exactly? And she's like, "I have a problem, and you're always the one to help me with these problems."
And then pause, because earthquake's gonna happen right after that.
Yeah.
But pause, because I want to know your guys' insight on this. Yeah, obviously, I've been vocalizing everything I feel. What did you guys think of the chemistry of the family? Obviously, you said Disney Channel family. Was that a negative or a bad? Was that a knock on
It's
it?
not
or
a
did you
Disney
like
Channel
it?
family. It's
I like the way you I like the way you explained it. Explained it perfectly.
every kid is different from one another.
So did you like it? Did you like the chemistry between the characters?
Yeah. I mean, I like the chemistry between the characters
The
because like
siblings, the
I
sisters.
I didn't like the, and no knock to the actress who played Cassie. I didn't think she was very good in the role. I mean,
I loved
obviously,
it.
no, she did great in the
she's
role.
a child actor, but like I don't know, just some of the voice, the line deliveries, they weren't very good in my opinion.
I mean, at the end of the day,
I'm
it's
not a
just
mo-
kid
it's a
act.
kid
You know, it's a
actor.
kid actor.
So
You
I
know.
liked it. I liked it across the board. But
But if you're gonna make her,
understand
if you're
it.
gonna
I
make her
can
the
understand
vocal
it.
point to the point where like some people like Bobby right here would think that, oh, this is the main character of the movie, it was just kind of a little off.
The reason why I felt that, and I'm just gonna rattle it off real quick, is because I felt she had plot armor. That's the reason why I felt like she was the main character. But tell me about chemistry. Go. Lou.
Yeah, no, I mean, most of the kids had chemistry because like each one of them was different from one another, and like they acted different from one another. It doesn't matter if one's an activist, one's like a DJ. You got the little girl. Each one of them had like different personalities. For example, the little
I feel
girl.
like that's a negative because it's like if you're gonna have something in common with your siblings.
Yeah.
And for one person to be like, oh, I only listen, like I do DJing and I like music and stuff, and then to have the other person like, I have nothing in common with you. I'm gonna go protest.
Well,
like,
no. At
climate
the end of the
change.
day, like it shows how close they were. Like when the
That's
little
why
girl.
that's
They
why
when
got
the
real
li-
close if you know what I'm talking about.
He's fired. He's canceled.
He's gonna cancel.
So no.
I go ahead and say it because I know what you're gonna say right now.
Yeah, no, because it's like when the little girl was playing with what's her name again? The other
Stephanie, best character.
Best character in the movie.
Best character.
Stephanie.
MLG.
No. Well, she
Pro
was chasing
gamer.
her sister around with that, and she locks her in the room. Like the brother and the other sister, like they grab her and they took her.
They
like,
tickle her,
so
yeah,
it's like they
that's-
have a good chemistry with
first,
each other.
I would say that is the only bonding moment in the film.
I
Yeah,
mean,
but we're
what
also
other
doing
what
setup,
yeah
isn't
what
it?
other bonding
Like-
things can you have with like three characters
without
like
it
that?
being
You know.
cheesy, like,
Yeah,
oh,
without
look how
being
lovey-dovey we
exactly
are.
like, oh, we
I-
both enjoy like playing video games together. Like, no, it's like they all have different.
No, yeah, they all have different personalities, but at the end of the day, all cared about each other. And
Yeah,
that's what I liked
exactly.
About it.
Like you can tell at the end of the day that they all care about each
Because
other.
I like how she's like, oh, like Danny's there's in the moment where basically.
Well, let's get to the earthquake scene.
Yeah, but let me just rattle this part. So basically, she makes a backhanded comment that reminded me of you, like something you would say to your sisters or your brother, or like he's like rocking out to a concert, and she's like, oh yeah, playing for a live one, like, and I thought that was fun. I thought that was a fun little back and forth. So okay, earthquake.
So they come back to get pizza and they use the remote to open the door, which didn't really work as well as it should have. Which is another thing why I don't know if I was overanalyzing, but I was like, that's definitely coming back.
The remote to the
remote
gate.
to the gate.
Yeah.
So then they get here, and they got their pizza, they got their drinks or whatever. Little girl, least optimized way to drink out of a soda when you're holding them in a carrier.
Oh yeah,
But
well,
very
she's
cute,
also, like,
very
6.
cute for like, very cute for a child. And then the sister and both sisters are talking to each other. They're kind of like consoling each other about what's been going on with their lives. And then the earthquake hits, and then I would probably say this is my biggest critique of the movie.
All right, go for it.
So I like the earthquake setup.
Yes.
I didn't like how dumb the characters are.
I
So
don't agree.
the brother, so Danny,
Go for it. I don't agree.
Danny
with that.
goes, "There's a hole here," and they go, "Okay."
No,
He's
hold
like,
on. You made something. The earthquake happens. The earth starts cracking. It creates a hole in the parking structure. Right away, they're like, let's go upstairs, and the kid gets attracted to the hole in the ground. Like, look at like he's
Yeah,
so
the way he said it,
excited.
he's like, "There's a hole."
Yeah, no, like he's so excited. I feel like that scene would have been a lot better if like they're walking, like let's go inside, let's go upstairs. They walk by the hole and the kid sees like something in the hole, like he sees the cabinets down in the hole. He's like, wait, hold on, I want to know what's that, But instead, he was just amazed by
hole.
a simple hole in the floor. Yeah.
I mean,
Alright.
there was the hole, and he's like, "There's a hole
Say
here,"
your
and
piece,
then he
say
looks
your piece.
inside.
Yeah, he's like, hold on, there's a hole. Yeah, like he was
But
just
then
so
he looks
amazed.
inside. He's like, "Oh, it's an old bank vault." So
Yeah,
okay.
exactly. Like
How
there,
old would you say
yeah.
he is?
What?
I mean, he can drive, so I mean, at the very least, he's 16.
15, 16, right? That's a
At
good.
most, he's maybe like 17.
17
I
at
would not say
most.
17.
Yeah,
He looks so young.
he does look.
He looks
young.
super young. That's why when they're like, "Oh, like go take the car," I thought she was talking to the girl,
So did I.
and the
then
kid's like,
he said,
"Don't
"Yeah."
worry, I got this," and he's like, using
Nah,
the
they're
broom
probably
handle
like
to hit the
16 or
pedals, I'm guessing.
17. Yeah.
He's tall, so I believe he could drive the car. But that's besides the point. All right, so go ahead and tell me how you think he's dumb, because I thought I was like, all right, that's
So
kind
just-
of dumb, but also like I understand it. So go for it.
Just this, right? So, hey, Danny, we shouldn't be down there. Hold on a minute, right?
Yes.
He's looking around.
Yes.
Cockroaches, whatever. Everything's
yes.
dusty. Danny, come on, we gotta go. Hold on a minute, and then he just keeps looking, right? And then like Danny, like seriously, we have to go. He's like, hold on a minute.
Like if he
just
knew
kept-
he
just
was
kept,
gonna
like,
find something
Yeah.
in that hole
and
inside,
it-
like
it
the
seemed
random
a
in
little
the
too
ground.
convenient where he's just like, oh, like I'm just gonna keep looking around.
Okay.
Um,
So I think the next scene validates that. Like it validates the issues with that part. So do you want to go into the next scene, or you want me to just tell you?
go ahead and go to the next scene.
Next scene. So Danny goes in, finds their version of the Necronomicon, but it's not called Necronomicon. It's called something else. It's basically one of 3 books. So they imply that there's 3 versions of this Book of the Dead, basically.
Yeah.
And what are the sister. Then we get introduced to the neighbors. Obviously felt like Death Father.
Yeah, because
Father.
one of the things I was excited about was the setting for this new movie.
Yes, there's
And
a
I was
whole
like,
bunch of people.
it's a bunch of people. It's an apartment building, and then the movie starts and like, this apartment building's being condemned down. There's like a handful of us left here.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, like I guess the body count's not gonna be super great, but like it will be interesting.
Right.
'Cause
Yeah.
you don't need a crazy body count to make a good horror film.
No, you don't.
But the thing is that by introducing the neighbors, I was like, okay, we're in a situation where we're gonna have a village. Like we're just a village of people like
Yeah.
gonna end up being possessed and something's gonna happen. But I was trying not to think about it too much, to be honest. I was like, I want to see if this is gonna be isolated just to the family. I had no idea what to expect going into this.
Yeah.
So we get introduced to what was it, like the super nicest neighbor ever? Like
Yeah.
was it-
Well, we first get introduced to the two brothers, the two brother neighbors.
oh yeah, the guy clearly had a crush on.
Yeah, he had a crush on one of the
And the
sisters.
little brother was hilarious.
Yeah.
I was
The
like,
guy
hey,
with 0 game and the little kid with 2 lines.
Yeah. Then the next neighbor that we get introduced is the nicest guy. He's like really,
yeah, super
he's
cute.
religious, but
Yeah,
he's super nice.
Like, so the earthquake happens,
Mhm.
and
then the
he
one
goes. The mom goes, "Hey, like, can I borrow your car? I want to go find my kids." And he goes, "You know what? Like, don't worry. Like, I'll take you."
he's
Like,
like,
let me
I'll
go get my
drive.
keys.
You're-
Like,
Yeah.
you're
I'll
Hannah
drive.
Keen, I drive. Yeah, super
Yeah, super nice dude.
And then we
I
get
sure hope nothing bad happens to him.
and then we get the nice old man whose name I don't remember any of the neighbors' names.
I don't know if he
That's
was
what sucks.
nice, but he was.
He's not like he's not
He's
a
not
jerk.
rude. Yeah.
He wasn't a jerk. He wasn't an a-hole.
He had a cat. Like,
When he
it's hard to
opened
be evil when you're a cat.
Yeah, when he opened his door, I was like, oh, he's gonna be an ass.
He's gonna be an asshole. No,
And
but
he
he
was,
was.
like, oh no, what's going on? Like, oh, who are you? You're a
Yeah,
groupie?
he
Like,
sounds. He at
he
first
looked-
he
like,
yeah.
I was
I got more of a sense of like camaraderie from the neighbors than I did the kids.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Because when he was like, he's like, who are you? He's like, oh, I'm her sister. He's like, oh, the groupie. He's like, okay, well, they talk to each other.
Yeah.
And then when the nice neighbor goes like, oh, like, she's like, can I help you find the kids? Like, oh, don't worry, like, let's go
I'm
find
Yeah,
them.
shocked. I'm
question,
shocked
yeah.
that you think that. I think they were all on par, but I felt like the neighbors were just characters for like
For
just
the body
for the
count.
body count. That's why I was like,
Yeah, but each neighbor, except I think the only weak neighbors were the kids because
kids
it's like
were-
who they you didn't really care about
they
them.
weren't necessary, but they were also.
Yeah.
But they also. Did they serve a point? Really? I mean,
No,
they
they
didn't. A child-
didn't, exactly. No, they
were
were just
areas. So it's child death. Basically, one of them. They both are gonna die.
yeah, no.
And that little boy dying, I was like, oh shit, things are going. All right, we're going. That's the only thing that they did for me. Outside of it's cute that he has a crush on her. Maybe he'll
Yeah.
sacrifice himself.
But not
for
that
her.
that mattered.
Yeah, no, not at all.
So
So
the kids reunite with the mom.
super cute. Go into the house. Danny goes and starts playing with everything he found in the bank.
finds a couple of records.
Yes, Bridget or his
Also,
sister.
I couldn't really get a good visual on the records. Did they say anything specific on them, or
They
did
just
have
said
dates on 'em?
something 1923.
And then they also say day 1 and then day 2.
Okay.
Day 3. Like,
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say, I was like, it's weird that he like knew which order to play them in.
Yeah,
Oh,
they said it on it.
yeah.
It was
Yeah,
faded,
okay.
but it was there. So then
Yeah.
they obviously open the book. He cuts his hand, bleeds on the book. It opens. Then Bridget's over here like,
because he's like, check out this book I found. Like, we can sell it because we could use the extra money because we're looking for a place to live. And then
see, that's what made sense to me. That line right there is why I was okay with him making that stupid decision going down there. Because like that, I was like, what a dumb thing to
Yeah,
do.
'cause-
But also, he's young, so I can see a young person doing something dumb like that.
yeah, it's like, oh, like maybe there's money down here we can use.
Well, yeah, he said that he's
Okay, so that
We're talking about-
kind of fixed my critique with it, where I was
We're
like, oh,
talking
like
about-
he's just down there.
yeah. We're talking about an older brother whose dad just left, and he knows his mom is struggling, so he's like, maybe I can find something that's valuable. And then he goes and he finds the book, and it's like, maybe we can sell it. And then his sister's being all like, social. What is it called when you're being like the high ground when you want to be the person above the other person? White knighting it, kind of like that. She's like, oh no, I'm sure mom wouldn't
Oh, yeah,
appreciate
like, you wouldn't
money.
like it if she stole something. Like if you
He
stole something to make
and
money.
he's like, it's been down there. Like, come on. Like, I understand his logic. You know what I mean? It's like, at first I was like, well, how dumb he would to him to go down there, but also he's a dumb kid, so maybe that's the case. But then they explained, he's literally thinking about his family, and I'm like, that makes it so sealed tight for me that I was like, oh, that's a nice thing. Leo, anything about that? Did you even notice that?
I mean, not,
Are you not even like looking?
Because
too much
I didn't even
into
think
it in
about
that
it.
moment,
For
or what?
me, I was like, oh, he's just a dumb kid, and then he's like, oh, like look at this, like we can sell it.
That's why I love his motivation.
But then
He was no. He was more into like, oh, look at this thing. I feel like, oh, we can sell it. He was just trying to tell his sister like, let me just keep this, because the sister was like, no, get rid of it. He's like, no, like let me just keep it. In fact, we can sell it.
Did you hear what I said about the mom and everything? Like,
oh,
like he's trying to sell it for his mom.
Yeah, I know he's trying to sell it because they need money.
Split.
Yeah, I know they need the money, and
I believe that was the motivation for why he wanted to keep it to begin with.
I don't know. I felt like he just wanted to keep it because
interested, but like
I know, but like I don't know. I feel like he was just more interested for just like
because
I kind of agree with Bobby now because I was like, oh, he's just like a dumb kid. But now I'm thinking like, oh, like he's trying to do
something nice, but in his own way, and he's a stupid kid. So
like, okay, no, so okay, yeah, I agree with you on that.
But then also at the same time, I believed him when his sister's like, put it back in the morning. He's like, I will, but he's like clearly gonna look through it.
Yeah, let me look through it.
And like I'm going one night with it, and then the other character motivation. So he plays a record, and that's what gets the possession going, right?
Mm-hmm.
He plays a record, and I was like, it is gonna be so stupid if he listens to this whole record and lets it just do the whole chant. And he physically tries to stop it. Did you guys notice that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking like
because he listened to the first record, nothing happened. He figured it out. Second record played the spell, and he tries to first stop it, doesn't work. Then he tries to rip it off, and it shocks him.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, this possession makes sense. It's not someone being so stupid that it's like they're reading word for word.
Once you start the record, like it's just
it's gonna play regardless.
Yeah, exactly.
I enjoyed that character motivation. I enjoyed that a lot. So I don't know if you guys even noticed that or anything.
I didn't notice it because I was kind of more like there was a lot going on.
We were still thinking like, man, this kid's stupid. Like all he wanted to see was just like the hole in the wall.
I love you, Danny. I love you.
The book has teeth. And it has like dick veins on it.
Yes.
and he right, so it's like, oh, like we could sell this. Like, okay, cool, you could sell it. Like you don't have to go through it. Like it's probably rare, it's probably valuable. But he's like, I want to see inside.
Yeah, exactly.
And then like for lack of a better word, the book.
And you also got to remember that he was more interested in the hole than what was inside. So like he was more interested. Like, look, a hole.
Boys, am I right?
Look, there's a hole in the floor.
I high-fived myself. Yeah. But also, but before all this, they also foreshadowed it. They said this was a bank beforehand.
Right, yeah.
So I'm assuming when he looked down and saw a safe, and he knows his family.
Okay, true.
Well,
yeah.
And it's going to get torn down in like a day.
I think he was super excited about the hole first.
Yeah,
and then he looks down, and they're like, oh, it's a bank vault.
Yeah, exactly.
And I thought that was a cheap jump scare, but I also kind of appreciated it. I don't know if you guys cared about the Jesus falling forward.
That was a good jump scare.
I was like, nothing. I was literally like, nothing's going to happen because nothing started yet. But that's because I'm an Evil Dead fan. So my little brother was covering his ears, and
because he knew it was coming.
He knew it was a jump scare coming up. So and it ended up being Jesus, and you're like, oh, okay. Like,
yeah, it's just like
and then Jesus continues to just be gone for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
So
then after that, we get the possession, mother's possession.
I was gonna say this because he's like an inspiring DJ or whatever. I just imagine him like listening to the recording. He's like, oh, like I'm gonna read these inscriptions from this like Book of the Dead. Or whatever, and I just imagine the kid going like wiki wiki, and it's like remixing the like the demonic like summoning.
Yeah, imagine that'd have been too canny, too campy.
So
possession on that. I was happy with it.
I was happy with it too. It wasn't too disturbing like past movies. Like past movies, I
was happy about that.
Past movies, like they can.
Are you talking about the tree?
I'm talking about the tree. Yeah, I'm talking about the tree. Like, there's two things in movies that I cannot like watch. Like I can see gore, I can see like anything in movies, but there's two things in movies that I just have to turn away because it makes me cringe. I can't see it. It gets me anxious.
And it felt like it was coming, but it didn't happen.
Yeah,
and I was appreciative for that.
And those two things is pedophilia and rape. Yes. And those two things, I guess, I hate it. I hate it.
I never find it necessary to include it inside the film visually. Like I understand art is art, and yeah. But my thing is that like you can reference it without having to have it on display or having it shown to me. I feel like it at that point it's kind of like in your face.
Exactly, yeah.
And that's the reason why I don't prefer it in my films. But I can get it as a character motivation. I talked about this in the past. I get why it exists for like as a motivation for all the characters or for the main character to for like a revenge one.
Yeah.
But I don't like seeing it. It makes me mad. It makes
No,
me upset.
even if
Sparks
it
an
has to
emotional
do,
response in me that I hate. Like
regardless, even if it's like revenge or something like that, it's just two things that I just rather not see in
But
film.
would you prefer it not being referred to at all in films?
I mean, if they refer it, like it's like, oh
Like,
yeah, that
this
happened. Yeah,
or
like
they do like a shutting door
Oh,
for like a kid or something.
I guess I don't know.
I don't like
like
seeing it. Like,
yeah,
it's
of course. Yeah, I don't
It's
think
uncomfortable,
anybody.
but
Yeah.
if it
It's meant to be disturbing. I
Of
know.
course, yeah, and it's like this movie, like the way they did that, it's like okay, they did that panning shot with the thing, first point of view, flying through the streets of L.A. and it goes through the building, hits the mom gets knocked back into the elevator shoots up. That was cool. That was cool. It hits the
I was gonna say this because she was in the elevator, right?
Yes.
The first thing she tells her kids when she finds them is, "Oh, you're not supposed to use an elevator after an earthquake."
I love that.
Only to be followed by immediately, she's like,
But that's
"I'm
also,
gonna go in the elevator."
That's why I like the family, because I was like, man, she says things that are like, she instead of being like, "Oh, I'm so happy you guys are safe," it's more like, "Why would you guys just?"
I'm gonna scold
like,
you, but like out of care.
How mom would act to me, at least in my experience, how mothers would act. That's why I believe the chemistry so much. She like instead of
I think the chemistry, like the mother chemistry, was very good. I felt like the kids
excellent.
together. I didn't
might be
feel
because they're kids. But and then I like the fact that they didn't use the stairs, which comes into play later. That they don't know that the stairs are messed up. So
because I was gonna say this because a lot of movies, it's like, oh, like why didn't they just do this? Why didn't they just do that? Like, they thought of that. They answered those questions. So right when the earthquake hits, nobody has cell service. Nobody can call anybody.
Yeah.
Which is why they wanted to go look for the kids.
Perfect setup for what's going on. But like I said, there's more issues going forward about how they could have escaped. I understand that's a critique, but I also don't mind it. But again, okay, so the possession. So she gets tied up by cables. I thought that was very unique.
I thought that was cool. Yeah.
I love the fact that the vine, they're not vines, but they're
cable car. They're
wiring, and they cut into hers, and you feel how
elevator cables. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks painful.
And like it stretches her arm, breaks her arm.
And was I the only one who got like, because we just watched a lot of Hellraiser? Like I was like, I feel like this is like just about to see a Hellraiser scene.
Yeah, no. Breaks her arm. She yells, and then the elevator just kind of like
zooms out,
and you see the sparks. Like it was like an intense scene. Like you felt it. You're like, damn.
And then what happens immediately after?
The kids are like lighting up candles at the house, and they're like, "Hey, where's mom? Like she's not in her room."
We get that nice creepy shot of her in the doorway.
Yeah,
I love that scene.
It's like her silhouette slowly walking into one of the sisters. Like she like lights up a candle in the hallway to make sure it's her mom, and like right when the light hits the hallway, she like turns into the kitchen, so you sort of see her face, but not really, and it made it so creepy.
So then we get into the scene that was in the trailer where she's
cooking eggs,
and she's just slamming these eggs in there, and she looks like she's possessed clearly.
Yeah,
she's clearly possessed.
Like so you can tell something's not okay with her.
Yeah, well they're looking at her like, "Mom, you all right?" And then she starts talking about her dream about crawling inside each of them.
No, yeah, it's a creepy scene. She's cooking eggs, and right away, like you can tell she's sort of still there.
Yes.
Because she turns around. She turns around. Yeah. She turns around and she's all like, "It's in me," and then she kind of like breaks down to her fours, like in her arms and legs, and she just kind of like starts composing and.
Oh, she says, "It's me." That's what she says.
It's in me. It's in me.
It's in me.
I thought it was "It's me." That's what I heard. Okay, it's in me.
She says, "It's in me."
Or "It's in me. Don't let it get my babies."
She doesn't say that until like after she throws up.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But. That brings up your point that you told me when we walked out of the theater.
Huh.
Audio in this film.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's amazing, but some of the dialogue was hard to understand.
No, but I feel like it was the theater that we were in.
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so? I feel like the theater that we were in, because
the
it's like
was beautiful.
I know. No, the theater audio was really good before the effects. When it came to like the dialogue,
you thought the theater itself fell out on that?
I feel like
the audio from the movie was not like.
No. I feel like the theater that we were in, it was just kind of like because it seemed like the sound was coming from the screen and not like surround sound. You know what I mean?
Okay, that's what you mean.
Yeah, so I feel like it was just the theater.
I thought you could understand what they were saying.
No. Yeah, it seemed like that because like the sound seemed like it was coming from the screen, and obviously it is coming from the screen. But what I'm trying to say, it's like it's not projecting into the stadium, into the.
If anyone, we saw it in RPX, so if anyone.
Regal, it's a Regal.
What that means, let us know.
I had to Google it before I went to go see it.
It's like the cheaper version of IMAX.
Did that make anyone else upset?
It's not IMAX.
It's not IMAX worthy or not like.
No,
What
no,
does that
no,
mean?
no.
What does that mean?
What we
Oh, you're
saw
talking
was
about
not
our?
IMAX.
Yeah, what we saw was not IMAX.
I know. I said it's not available on IMAX from what I could tell.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it is.
At AMC, it is.
Honestly, it would be really, really, really cool to watch this movie in Dolby. And yeah, in Dolby Audio, that'll be really cool.
Isn't Dolby Audio the one with the side screens?
No,
No,
that's
that's-
Screen X.
Yeah,
Okay.
Mhm.
like another
I don't like that.
gimmicky thing.
All right. Well, besides the point. Okay, I just thought you were saying you were having a hard time understanding hearing the audio.
Yeah, like
Because of the
like
movie.
the dialogue in the
But you're
movie
saying it's
when
'cause of the
they.
theater. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like it was a theater.
All
It
right,
was
continue
yeah.
that.
But yeah, so she drops on her floors and like cross two of them. Kids are freaking out. Everybody's backing up, and like right away she just starts throwing up.
Mhm.
Starts throwing
Like-
up vile.
Ectoplasm.
Like,
Whatever.
yeah.
I explained it
an
already.
insane amount. Like,
Yeah,
Classic
and then
rule that.
she
That-
finished.
that-
She finishes. She like throws up like a puddle after she's done throwing up. She's like, "Don't let them get my babies."
Yeah.
and she
that
just
broke my heart. I was like,
and
oh.
she falls into the puke.
Yes.
Yeah. After that, they have her in the bed.
Yes.
They think she's dead.
She is dead at that point.
She's basically dead, but it's pretty funny because like there's a part that made me laugh.
That's why
This
we
part
laughed.
made
too.
me
Yeah. So
The
they
neighbor.
she has
all
her.
of the neighbors.
Yeah, they call the neighbors, the only two neighbors that they're in that floor. And they're just looking at her and they're like, she looks terrible, like, and they
Yeah,
think
it
she's
looks like, it looks like she got
They
beat
give,
up.
they give us a nice little line of a reference of what happened to her face, as opposed to what happened to her eyes, because that's
Yeah.
exactly
her
the
eyes
original.
haven't changed yet at
Oh, I
that
know, but
point.
they say
Yeah.
this is what happened to her face, and it was natural.
That
Oh
one, I
yeah.
think.
Says-
That one, I think, was you're reading too into. I think they're literally just like, "Hey, she looks beat up."
because she was like
Nah,
blue.
nah,
She was like blue at that
I
point.
literally got chills when he said it. I
When-
know that was for me.
When they had that scene of her like in the bed, that looked creepy.
Yeah, but
That looked pretty
that's the
creepy.
part that made you laugh, because we all laughed at that part.
She was in the bed and everybody's just staring at her and she had her eyes open, and so like, she's dead, let's just close her eyes. So
Close
they
her eyes.
close her eyelids and then like they just pop open right again.
That was a good
And
scene.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
pretty it was pretty funny.
Yeah, that was like the first like really campy like scene outside of the.
Then we
CG
get
guy.
that other neighbor, I guess the young neighbor. He's like the same age as the oldest sister.
Yes. Or the youngest sister, I
The
would
youngest
say.
sister, yeah.
He wants to say a prayer.
He wants to say a prayer. He's
Uh-huh.
like, well, she's not religious. She's like, well, that.
Or she wasn't religious.
Yeah, I
she
guess
corrects
she.
it,
Yeah.
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 And it's pretty funny because for me, I thought, I'm like, yeah, who cares that she's not religious? For him, he's creeped
Yeah.
out. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like he needs this, not her.
This is not for you.
This is for him. Okay.
Yeah.
And then they step out. They go to try to. This is where I find another critique of the film, but it's so. So the kids, the two boys, the two little boy neighbors are looking at the elevator, and it's open and closing, and they're just staring at the elevator like, oh wow, okay, we can't get down. And then the old man and the younger neighbor go and try to break the door handle.
Mm-hmm.
We get a nice little reference to the shotgun. He's like, oh, let me go get my gun.
Yeah,
And
because they're trying to leave. Somebody just died.
And they're trying to get off the floor, and the stairs are broken. That's something that they reveal
Later.
Right before that. Basically, when she sees this and throws up, they grab her body and they try to run her to the elevator because they don't know what happened.
Elevator's not
The elevator's
working
broken, and they go take the stairs. Danny, go get the stairs, down the stairs, and then the stairs are broken.
because of the earthquake.
Yeah. So that's and then
I don't know why I felt like that reveal was like way later in the movie.
No, it was
but it was like
immediately
right
before
after.
the eyes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So the neighbors go to knock down a door. They're like, oh, we got to go through 80, or they got to go through a specific number. I forgot what it was. And that door is bolted shut, basically. And it's because of the stuff they're doing.
Right. So he's like, well, let me go get my tools so we can open the door.
And then he's like, let me go get my gun and just shoot it open. And he's like, no, like people are so on edge right now. And that made sense to me.
Yeah.
You're not going to bring out a gun with kids all freaking out. And you got two other kid neighbors seeming by themselves. Like, where are their parents?
Yeah, true.
I'm guessing it's the little brother, like the brother of the nice neighbor. Maybe it's his little brothers. I'm guessing.
I
They
don't
gave
think
no
so.
explanation.
They were just kind of
Yeah.
there by themselves. My best guess is maybe they were
I'm only best because
from another floor and they were going to someone's house to watch the movies.
Yeah,
Because that's what they said earlier.
but they were by themselves.
Yeah.
So, what happens immediately after that? So the elevators. The main critique I heard is like the keys were blocking the elevator from shutting.
I had that problem too.
oh yeah, huh?
The keys are what were stopping the elevator from shutting, and
That's
and the little
stupid.
boys were standing there staring at the elevator. A kid would be curious enough because we saw them jump into a hole a second ago. Are curious enough to see the keys.
Okay, hold
Whose
on,
keys
hold
are
on.
these?
No, wait a minute. Regardless, doesn't matter if the keys were blocking the elevator. The elevator still wasn't working.
No, it wasn't working because the key.
I know, but
That's the reason the elevator
later
wasn't
on in the
working.
movie, they went in the elevator, still wasn't working.
Because the key was
Because the
blocking
key
it.
was in there.
I know, but
What?
regardless, they pressed the buttons and they wasn't working.
Are you hearing me?
because the keys were blocking the door.
Yeah, so they couldn't press the button.
Yeah, they got the keys out of the door.
That's what he's saying. He's saying
the
fact
key
that
was
they didn't.
there the whole time. The kids would have saw that when they were staring at the elevator being broken.
So you're saying that if the key got taken out of the door,
Then the
It
doors
would've
would have closed
shut.
properly, and the elevator would have
That's
worked.
what happened.
the elevator shut up. Cables came crashing down. That wasn't going down.
Did you not see
That
the
wasn't
end of
working.
That's what happened at the end of the movie. The end
Yeah,
of the movie,
it came crashing back down because of the weight
that's
limit.
Why it went down?
Yes, because look,
Is that what
Yeah,
happened?
that's what
remember
happened.
the blood was
Did I
filling
just
up.
miss that?
Because they
All
even
right,
they even
fair.
zoom
Yeah.
in,
Okay,
they
go,
zoom into
go,
the
go.
I was
Come
about
on,
to fight
hit me.
you.
they,
Fight
zo-
me.
Yeah.
they zoom into the sign that says
weight
like, oh,
limit.
like 9 people only 600
So
900
So it
pounds
didn't
limit.
go down.
I think it's 600 it's a 6 people 900 pound limit.
Yeah, and
So
the
you
blood
have-
was filling all the way to
Okay,
the
so you
900
have
pound.
the
Second,
I guess you guys call them the family.
Yeah.
On top of the elevators, they were inside, and it slowly starts filling with blood.
When the camera cuts
Yeah.
to black, you hear cables snap.
So they survived falling like what?
They were in liquid.
Okay, but that's also something I didn't like. I was like, why is the elevator being filled with liquid? What's the blood from?
Demons, I guess.
But like,
Yeah.
when has that ever happened in previous installments or anything?
I'm not-
Why did
I'm
it
not
start
saying
raining
it's
blood
weird.
in the remake?
Well,
Because they completed the ritual. They
Yeah,
complete-
and so there must have been some ritual in this. It's there's stuff that
okay, there you go. No, I like that. No, go and continue. So then because they finished combining
you know
the
what?
family,
Yeah,
Could
because
be,
the
could be.
ritual, because
I like that. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah,
That makes a
could
lot
be.
more sense. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, that's probably what he was going for. Because I was like, what the fuck's with the blood? Like I was like, what is this a shiny reference? The elevator's gonna open and blood.
I 100% thought I was like I leaned over to Leo because I saw it in the trailer and I was like, oh, this is The Shining.
That's 100% a shiny reference.
it's
as I'm
a
watching it.
100% shining
But I was
reference. Yeah.
like, why is there blood going in this thing? And then now that makes sense. It was happening the moment they were crawling into the mother.
Yeah.
But
anyway, let's keep going. Let's.
You made that critique into something I enjoy now.
Yeah.
It
Like how
makes
earlier
sense.
when you were like, oh,
Yeah.
like the kid wants to sell it so he can
Because
help
it was
his mom out.
bugging me. It was bugging me. I was watching the second time around. I was like, why? Why?
Yeah,
just
yeah,
for
yeah.
Visuals? I was like, that's stupid. But now,
I'm not gonna lie,
Boom, high five.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
there you
pretend I'm above it.
Ah,
I
I
didn't
love
make
it.
that connection until he just mentioned it to me, but I'm gonna pretend I knew the whole time.
That's okay.
What, the Shining reference?
No,
No.
the fact that there might have been a ritual because it was toward the end of the book.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And in the remake, like the rain with blood,
Yeah,
it's
I feel like
it's
you
like
actually made a brilliant point. I love it.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
it
Thank
must
you.
have
Made me
been-
enjoy that
For
scene
someone
more.
who doesn't
Yeah.
pay attention, you got a good point.
I just went from 8.5 to 8.6, dude. Yeah, that made that little difference. For me.
I'm moving mine up to an 8 right now.
yeah. I'm
So-
still
slowly
at
getting
an
up
8.
there.
I'm still
all
at
right,
an eight.
okay. Thank
Actually,
you.
I think I'll go to 8.5 at this point.
Okay, so continue. So I know we're jumping around everywhere, but this is how we enjoy this film.
So
Plus, we just saw it, so like we're not like watching this on Blu-ray. Like we're like, oh, like let's take our
Yeah.
notes. We just got out of the theater.
and
watched it.
I've been steaming pot of just joy and bountifulness of this nonsense. Let's go. So, where were we?
So they're trying to get the mom out.
Oh, major possession starts basically, right?
The major possession.
not
starts.
yet. The sister's talking to the mom. The mom's sister's talking to her while she's like in the bed, like with her eyes wide open, and she tells her, she's all like, you wouldn't know what to do in these moments,
Yeah,
like
you're the person
but
I
they're-
turn to in these moments.
Yeah.
I'm too,
Real quick,
I'm
we're gonna rewind by like maybe 15 minutes. So remember when she was like, oh, like I did call you, like you just never
I'm
answered.
glad you brought this up.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah.
she
I was
goes
just-
back to her phone and she listens to the voicemails and it's her saying like, hey, like
not yet. That happens after.
No,
this-
he's
so
talking about the
this
first
is-
time she's in the bathroom, like mad that she wasn't there for her sister.
Oh yeah,
so
yeah.
she's
okay.
listening to the voicemail of her sister and the sister's like, hey, like
Yeah.
like something happened, like if you can
And then
just like let's just talk.
there's this funny sister dialogue where she walks in and is like, I hate hearing my voice too. So it's
Yeah,
okay.
because she
And it's
felt
hilarious.
guilty. So she hung up at the phone. The sister comes in. She's like, "Oh, don't worry. Like I don't like hearing my voice either."
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I
yeah.
also liked and this one might be me reading too much into it, but she says, I did call you. I tried to call you. I was like, is that a reference to 2013? Because in 2013, the brother wouldn't come no matter how much they called him. And that was like his whole redemption thing was he felt guilty for not being there for his mom. And his sister had to deal with it, Mia, in 2013, Evil Dead. And he's
Now,
like,
once again, I think you're
I
digging
yeah,
too much into this.
but he literally said, they said like, I did call you. I was like, oh, like 2013. I was having a blast, dude.
Yeah.
But now here's my problem. Now high points, low points, high points, low points. We have this amazing scene with the cracking of eggs, puke, dead. We now went from a high point to just almost nothing. And I'm like, whoa, okay, well that's really.
I say it kept the excitement. Like it didn't like immediately go low. It kind of mellowed out.
Okay, and then
Immediately she's like, "Don't let him take my babies." She passes out. They're like, "Let's get her to a hospital." They're trying to find.
can't do it.
Yeah, they can't do it.
Okay, and then the next scene is she's basically talking to her sister's body, just reflecting on her life and sorry that she can't even. She's such a coward that she feels like such a coward that she can't even face her kids right now.
Yeah.
What just happened, and that's heartbreaking. I was so emotionally invested in the characters.
It's like the kids are like they just watched their mom what they thought died right in front of them, and she's like, I need to go address that to the kids.
And she's like, I'm too scared to do that.
Yeah.
And then she she sits up or what does that happen?
No, she hears voicemail.
Because she's
Voicemail,
talking
I'm burning.
the voicemail starts playing off her phone.
Yeah.
She kind of freaks out because she just hears her that sister's voice, and she looks at her phone. The voicemail is playing.
And
so
the voice,
but then it changes, and she says, "Help me, I'm burning."
And the phone cracks.
And the phone just explodes.
And then she turns around, and her eyes are open. She's blinking. I don't remember.
Her eyes are wide open. She's sitting up.
She's sitting up. Yeah.
And then she touches her, and she's like, she's burning.
She's burning.
We got to get her to the bathtub.
And then that's when she recruits the kid, Danny, to come help carry her into the tub. Throws her in the tub, and the water starts boiling almost immediately. I love that. She starts freaking out in the water. But because she's so hot that the water's cold.
I guess, yeah.
It's a reaction. So she's like, ah. And the water starts to boil, and she's like, I'm gonna go get ice.
Yeah.
And she goes to grab ice, and we see the little girl off in the corner watching everything happen. And I'm like, it's so freaking sad.
So you see all that, you see the little girl in the corner, and you're like, that's the main character. That's how you saw
I'll
that?
explain it. No, I'll explain it in a second. Like I said, the plot armor, and I'll get into why, and it bugs me. That's my last critique, and I'll get into it in a bit. So she goes to grab the bag of ice. She comes back. Bridget, the sister, comes back. The little sister, not the little sister,
the older sister.
Yeah, but I know, but we're talking about two sisters. I just realized. Yeah. So the kid's sister, kid's older sister, basically goes and she sees her mom basically clings to the ceiling. Opinions, thoughts.
That was cool. That was cool because she clings to the corner of the ceiling, and I'm like the whole time I'm like, that's really, you can't get a grip in that corner. Like you got to be really like
wet.
Yeah, plus she's wet and all that.
It makes more sense, but it'd be ridiculous in a horror movie. Like she jumps up, just slips, falls back into the tub.
No, yeah, so it's like it was like really creepy because like she clings onto the corner of the ceiling, and she's wet,
she
slippery,
screams,
and she like screams.
And that's like the siren for everyone in the building, be like, oh god, what the hell's going on?
Almost everyone.
Yeah, that was one of my biggest critique too. Yeah, that was one of my biggest critique as well.
Oh, downstairs.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
So the other neighbor's trying to break into that one.
Hear the screaming. Now they go check.
And they go check on what's going on. Yeah.
Now that's the thing is that it takes them a bit for them to get from what they're doing to go check on them, and now, in my opinion, at this point, everything's cranked up to 11. Like, the mom's possessed. I'm guessing someone's not going to survive this, right? And so this is where I feel like the kids have plot armor, and this is where.
So before we get there,
go.
So she screams. The water beneath her starts boiling even more.
Yes.
Windows shatter. Mirror shatter.
I don't remember that, but yeah.
Yeah, windows. The mirror shatter.
They leave. They run out of the bathroom, and
the
mom comes out holding
a shard
of mirror.
Okay. Yeah, she falls in the water in the bathtub, and then like the kids. Yeah, she crawls out. Says kids run out of the bathroom, and I love this scene where like she kind of like pokes her head out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of it was fantastic. Now here's the wrap up. Like everybody's at 11. I'm expecting not just Gorefest, but like shit to go down, and she goes and she has.
It's just like these little scenes that I just enjoyed a lot because like she like pokes her head out.
I like these things. I like the same things you like.
Yeah.
But here's my thing: when she stabs, because she gets this shard of mirror and stabs her own sister in the hand with it.
Yeah.
I was like, all right. Did you expect her to just rip it straight up? Was that just me? Am I just morbid?
You.
Am I just like this? Like
it's because
I expected more. I expected a couple stabs.
I think you're taking too much from the 2013.
Yeah.
Because that scene reminded me a lot of the box cutter scene.
Yeah.
No, that scene reminded me of the bathroom scene with the needle, where like he's covering his face and she just keeps stabbing at his hand. The bathroom scene, yeah.
So my thing is, when she stabbed her hand, I was like, and they do a nice like zoom in shot of it.
The girl,
I expected her to go straight up, just take this chunk of flesh off, and instead she stabbed. She pulls it out.
It's because the little girl yelled at her.
Yeah, or no, not the little girl, the older daughter.
The older daughter yelled at her. Yeah.
That's just what I say.
Bridget
yeah.
says, "Mom, what are you doing? Stop!"
She yelled at her.
She goes, "Stop!" And then
she goes, "What?" She's like, "What's wrong with you?" And she's like, "Well, I'm finally free
from you."
Oh, you titty sucking.
Apparently, a lot of people had problems with that line.
I don't like the line, or at least Moist Critical did, because I saw his review of it.
So people were like, "Oh, like that line was hilarious." I don't know if they were like, "It's offensive" or whatever. Like,
it's not offensive. I thought it was pretty funny because I was like, damn, that's like a demon mom right there. Like, yeah.
But then, then
And
I
it's
don't know
hilarious.
what
It made me
happens where
laugh.
she
Yeah,
she
definitely.
somehow ends up in like a dark hallway again, and then she goes, "Oh, which one of you guys wants to run next?"
No,
all right,
because
so, Danny. So what happens is, oh, go. If you want to say it, or you want me to say it?
Danny hits her in the
Danny
head.
hits her with a chair. So basically, she stabs her sister.
Yeah.
I wanted more gore, but I didn't get it. So stops, turns around.
No, you're forgetting about she charges at Bridget.
Yeah, turns
Yeah,
around.
after she stabs
Oh, there
her.
you
She's
go.
pretending to be like all sweet and like, oh,
Yeah.
it's okay. And then she's like, "You teddy's little tilly
Yeah.
suckers," and that's always hilarious. And then she jumps on her. She pounces on her.
Yeah, yeah, okay. I
And when
remember
she
now.
pounces on her, she doesn't have the glass anymore. 'Cause she dropped it, and she grabs the
Tattoo machine.
Is it a tattoo? I thought it was
Seems like it.
It's a tattoo needle.
It looked like a tattoo. I thought it was a tattoo needle when the first time I saw it.
There's scenes where it seems like it is,
She's
and there
welding
seems
stuff
like
with it.
yeah.
It's a welder. It's like a wire welder.
Yeah,
But it looks like a tattoo
yeah.
machine.
You're
I saw
right.
the
Yeah,
six
you're
in
right.
there.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, she gets some of her blood and puts it on the needle, so I was like, oh, like it needs like ink or something. That's what I thought.
I didn't see her do that. I saw.
No, she just stabs herself
She
with
goes
it.
stabs herself with it, and
She
then
goes
she
for
goes
the
for the
eye.
eye.
She goes
Yeah.
for the eye, and then she goes and she cuts the cheek, and I'm like, all right, like Evil Dead rules.
Death sentence.
She's dead. Like
Yeah.
she's dead. She's a deadite. At this
Yeah,
point.
exactly.
And I'm like, so, and what continues on is she's like perfectly fine, and I'm like, all right, maybe it's an act. Maybe they're not gonna kill a kid. Like what's going on? You know, that's how I felt watching it. So then, all right, she hits her in the eye. She's like, let me kiss and make it better. She sticks her tongue out. I laughed. I thought that was funny.
See, that's the part where I thought I was like, because I was thinking like, oh, is it blood or is it like any kind of like liquid that will transform them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is that I was happy that it was considered a different book because we didn't know the rules going forward on this book.
Yeah.
So that made it a surprise for me what was going to happen. And so what happens? Danny gets hit, and then that's when the neighbors come in.
Yeah, Danny hits the mom.
Yeah, Danny hits the mom.
Off of the sister.
Yeah.
She ends up in the hallway, and then she comes out, and she's like, "Which one of you wants to run next?" So she starts doing like the any, mini, miny.
No,
moe.
not yet. She's in the hallway, and then the two neighbors come in.
No, she's gonna go after them, and she's gonna run after the little girl, and that's when the neighbor comes
Raymond
in.
is correct. Yes.
Oh,
That's when the
okay.
neighbor comes in. She gets
Any,
his
mini,
attention,
miny, you,
and that's when everything hits the fan for the hallway.
Yeah, that one's a cool scene.
And that scene. Now, I liked it, but I felt like it was too quick.
I felt like
felt
they
like
got
it-
all
the deaths that they had set
the
up.
side characters that were like, oh, these are gonna be like
They
gory
died
deaths.
within like what,
Seconds.
20 seconds,
And-
15 seconds.
And that's where I'm saying that these, like I said, high points are so weird. It peaks, it plateaus in this moment where she's getting in the eye, hits him with a chair. Okay, crescendo, stop. Now
So-
she's gonna attack outside, and I thought we were gonna get a different view of it. I appreciate the eye hole view of watching everyone die.
I thought it was interesting.
That was
thought it
cool.
was
Yeah, that
interesting.
was cool.
But everything happened in a flash. Like,
Speaking of eye
yeah.
hole, so the neighbors get her attention. She jumps on him, bites his eyeball out. The part that I thought was a little ridiculous was she gets the eye stuck in her throat,
Yeah.
coughs it out, and then the hot Cheeto kid just like gets it stuck in his throat, and then
And
he's
chokes.
gone.
And he
And chokes
dies.
to
He
death.
dies,
just gone.
chokes to death on the eyeball, and then everybody else dies off screen.
Okay, so did that take you out of it? Because when the moment I saw this, I'm like, yes, this is Sam Raimi.
I
He's
thought
the
it
same
was-
man who made Drag Me to Hell. I expected this to happen.
I thought it was ridiculous. I
It
wouldn't say
wasn't.
took
I
me
mean,
out
it's
of it.
not. It wasn't Sam Raimi. He was the executive producer.
Of Drag Me to Hell.
No, of this one.
Wait, so he didn't direct this film?
No, he didn't.
No, but the
Am I bad? Alright,
video direction was very Sam Raimi.
Of
Like, it was
course,
very Evil
like,
Dead.
yeah.
They're trying to pay homage to it, but he's not the director.
No, he's not the director. He was executive producer along with Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell, yes.
So they had
So
some sort of say in the things that were happening, but it's not like he was in complete control of it.
But that scene was funny, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
of
don't know
course.
if that took you out of it. I don't know if
A little bit,
but I laughed.
I mean, the rest of it kind of went off without a hitch. But a lot of it did happen off screen. The shotgun I thought was a
Nice.
fun like
Boom.
because
Yeah.
they just mentioned the shotgun. He's like, oh, I'll just blast it open with my gun. And he's like, hey, like
Yeah.
don't bring the gun into this. Like people are already freaking out.
yeah.
And then it's what is that thing called in film where they're like, oh, there's a bomb under the table.
The bomb under the
Or
table.
not bomb under the table, but like if you introduce something in a scene, you have to bring it back in another scene.
Shotgun on the fireplace. It will go off by page 3 or whatever. Page
Yeah.
1, you see introduce a shotgun. Page.
Yeah, so they just mentioned the shotgun, and then he uses the shotgun.
But they did that a lot though. They did that with the scissors. They did that.
That's what I'm
with-
saying. Like
Everything was
every
foreshadowed.
every set piece was like introduced, and it seemed I don't know if I was digging too into it,
No, you.
but
I
it
think-
seemed obvious, and then it came back later.
Okay. So then, all right. So then, what did you think of that scene then overall?
It was really good. It was really
It
good.
didn't take you out of it. You enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. I mean, the hallway scene, I enjoyed it.
a
The
bit
the
out.
eyeball scene was funny. Took me out a little bit, you know, because like she spits the eyeball into the like she spits it at the kid. The kid, it goes into his mouth. He chokes to death. I'm like, what the hell? And then they lock her outside, and
I
they're
I will say they did the smartest thing in a horror movie, which is like, oh, she's killing all the neighbors. I'm just gonna close the door and lock it.
Oh yeah, because the nicest neighbor knocks and says, let me in, and help me, please.
Yeah.
And I liked that they didn't open the door. I thought it was incredibly sad, but I was like, yeah, there's.
And she rips his throat.
It would have been too much time. So they at this point they already have the door closed. It's locked. They have the little chain on it,
Yeah,
and they already barricaded it with
the
a
bolted door.
with the furniture.
Shelf, yes.
And then he's like, hey, let me in. It's like by the time they would have moved that, opened the door, locked it, like.
And we're also talking about basically at this point, Thea with her 3 kids, like
Mm-hmm.
they're not a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
They are easily the most vulnerable people going forward. And so I love that when they go to the eye hole, the first person you see die is a little boy. And I was like, that's jacked up.
On screen.
On screen.
You see the other people die.
Who do
Or
see
you hear
die?
them die.
Who do you see die? Who do you hear die? You see the guy get his eye bit out. The other guy chokes by being that. You're screaming.
The little boy
die.
he just flies into the shop, hits his head on the wall, and that's pretty bad, and dies.
And then the old man, shoots her.
Yeah.
And then we see him die off screen. And that's all the neighbors. And I'm like, damn, I felt like we had so many more people here.
Yeah.
And now we're back
down
to the
cast.
family.
And,
yeah.
and here's my thing. At this point in the movie, I'm like, I can't tell who's safe and who's not. So, like, can I get invested? Like, is there any point of the characters that remain? Like, are they not going to kill the little girl so she's just safe? Is the lead character, you guys are saying is the main character?
Yeah.
Is she just, like, free to not die because she's Ash, basically? We saw the sister. She might get possessed. We don't know if she's going to. And Danny, which I feel like Danny's either going to die protecting one of his siblings. So, what exactly is going to happen next? What was going through your guys' head in that moment? Like, all the neighbors are dead. What comes next? She's going to try to get in? That's it? Like,
yeah, because my whole thing was like, the mom's outside. And then if you've seen the trailer, like obviously it kind of ruins it for you that the little girl's going to open the door at some point.
I didn't
like,
see that.
I don't know why they keep leaving the little girl by herself.
oh no,
but they keep doing that.
That made sense in this movie, which I liked. And I'll get into that in a second. But what, I want to know your guys' emotions going after all the neighbors died. Because I was like, I felt like all the potential kills, all the goriest kills you could have got was in that moment. And they went to that high point again. And now we're back down. And we're back down. And now we're explaining the book. And now we're...
Well, my immediate thing after the hallway scene was like, oh, okay, well now the sister's going to be possessed.
So
Bridget.
you assumed immediately. So
Yeah, because it's just Evil Dead rules. Like even though it's a different book, it's like it's just kind of how it always goes, and it doesn't make sense.
I
for
was
them
afraid
to...
they weren't gonna do it because at the way the movie was going, I was like, are they gonna jump the fence? Are they gonna take that?
She
lead?
goes into the bathroom. She looks at her cheek, and it seems like it's getting infected.
Now, did you like the CG in that? Because that bugged me.
CG was kind of off, but it was just the only CG part was just like how like the veins were just going through her face. And I'm like,
that legit
okay.
took me out of it. The eyeballs getting choked in from one mouth to another, that didn't take me out. The CG on the veins, that took me out of it.
I mean, it only happens for like 2 seconds, so yeah, it did seem kind of weird, but
everything in this movie is really quick.
yeah,
And
the most important scenes are practical. That's the best. That's the good thing about it.
I would argue that part should have been practical to a lot of degrees. Like,
Yeah, but I mean, it's
like touch and pus or like punch and ooze, like
I guess,
not just touch and then veins appear and you're like, oh, okay, that's kind of neat. And then she starts bleeding, starts getting
Yeah,
like
because I
ink out
thought
of
she
her
was
mouth.
possessed right off the bat
But
when she's talking to the little girl.
yeah,
I mean, we forgot to mention that the power went out. I know we did. We mentioned.
Yeah,
that.
we did mention that.
So they're sitting in the dark. The mom's outside. She's just banging on the door. I
and then
think.
she's banging with her head, which I loved. I was like,
Yeah.
that's a little fun little thing.
Yeah, good. Now who's the groupie? But and she's sitting. The little girl Cassie is sitting with Bridget, and she's like, "Hey, I'm scared. Are you okay? Or like, does your face hurt or whatever?" And she just sits there in silence. She's like, "I'm fine," and just gets up and leaves. And I was like, she's gone.
No. That's the moment where you said that. Oh, they keep leaving the little girl alone. That I liked because she walks away because she obviously something's going on.
Yeah.
And she was supposed to be the one watching her. And normally she's the more responsible one out of the 3 little ones. That the older sister would be paying attention to the little one, and she walks away because she's basically getting possessed. So that's why the little girl was alone. So that's why I was okay with it. And, because otherwise, if they thought of a different reason to like leave her by herself and then she opens the door, that would have been idiotic.
Yeah.
So I'm glad. That's why I was okay with it, that one. So then they go and check out the record. They play it smart. They play the record on headphones.
Right.
The sister, the main character, you guys say,
Beth.
Beth, does a nice Ash reference of Jimmy rigging this thing together with a bunch of cables, and she uses that soldering tool I was telling you about.
It makes sense because she's a music technician. She's a guitar
they
technician.
mentioned
Exactly.
in passing, yeah, and then she uses a soldering tool to make the battery get power to the vinyl, plays the audio, and that's where we get what happens next. So, go Leo.
So, Bridget starts getting possessed.
Yes.
She's in the kitchen, and
She starts oozing.
yeah, Danny goes to go check up on her. Danny, no.
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 No,
Nobody,
she's
just-
nobody checks on her. She's by herself.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was
because they're in the room explaining what's
no,
She's the
no,
middle
no, no,
child,
no,
so when she
no, no. Hold on,
disappears,
hold on.
nobody
You guys said that she starts playing the vinyl. No, that doesn't happen until after.
I
No,
already explained what you
this
said.
is
that's
happening
why.
simultaneously. So she starts oozing. Like she walks away, she starts oozing.
The little girl
Um,
goes to talk to him. Three things are happening at once. In this calm down moment, three things are happening. There's the sister getting possessed, oozing out oil, like what is it, ink basically.
Like ectoplasm. It's just black stuff.
And then the sister, the youngest, the little girl, Kathy, Cassie is talking to her mom, and then they're talking about what's going on with the book. And I'm like, things have slowed down so much, like almost to a pause. And like I can feel things rising again, but like, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the possession of the sister, the little sister, the middle child.
Bridget.
What did you guys think of that? I was kind of like so.
No, it was whatever. Yeah, I mean, she didn't have much of a possession
looked
scene.
like a little
Like before you
girl,
know it,
like a baby.
yeah.
The
But it was
mom's
sad.
possession kind of overshadows everyone else's. So when she was possessed, it was like, okay, like
Something.
this is happening now.
I don't like things in my tummy. Like it was
Yeah.
like it was like they were going for like a baby form of it.
No, yeah, because every time the demons spoke to Beth, they were always almost talking about her being pregnant, which is weird because later in the movie when the mom goes to her, she's like, oh, like two souls. It's like, is that the first time she knew about it? Because
Yeah,
it seemed like
'cause
they were always referencing that she
they were
was
they were
pregnant.
about to reveal it, and then the earthquake hit. That's what stops it. She's about to tell her. She's like, I need your help. I screwed up again, and an earthquake hits, and then priorities the kids, and then we don't. It just cuts away from them. So yeah, nobody knew until that moment where she's clawing, like her sister's clawing at her stomach.
Yeah, but there was two lines. So it was the thing where she's like,
Oh yeah, the tummy thing. Yeah.
yeah, she's like, oh, like I don't like things in my tummy. Like, do you like things in your tummy? And
Yeah.
that I felt like that was directly like, hey, you're pregnant. We know you're pregnant.
I thought so too.
And then the mom that I also said something earlier on that was like, oh, hey, like I know you have a kid.
I don't know. I don't remember that.
Okay.
The line later on is the line where she goes two souls. Like
Yeah,
that's
that
the one
that
you're
was
talking
that
about?
was the other that was the third time they mentioned it.
Oh, I didn't.
And I was like, oh, like do they like they kept mentioning like, oh, like there's something inside you.
Well, I'm assuming demons that like they probably had the ability to know, but then they revealed it later, like, oh, like you have two souls. Like
Yeah.
they just found out.
Yeah,
so
so-
I was a little confused by that too. So Bridget's possession. I thought it was a little cheesy.
It was what they
But he didn't like. I feel like they did some practical effects that made it creepier. Like later on, she has like a blanket covering her, having her tied up.
That was good.
That
That was good.
terrifying.
Yeah,
So
no, that was good.
The opening, like the reveal shot, where she just, I'm trying to remember. So she's listening to the tape, right?
Does it? When you're talking about when Bridget's already possessed?
Yeah. So right when
After or before?
so I'm trying to remember.
So
So,
she's
are they listening to the tape at this point? Because
no.
Okay.
So little girl getting
so
choked out.
he's explaining the books that he found and stuff.
Yes.
The little girl was like, "Hey, mom, like you're probably feeling okay now, right?"
Yeah, daddy's here and all that.
Yeah, so then the mom chokes out the daughter, but then they save her.
They save her, and then they're like, "Where's Bridget?" And she's on the counter,
Yeah.
and she basically tells, like, she basically tells Daniel, or I don't even know where the kids are. I think she might have told him to leave, like step aside.
They're in the
and-
room. They're in the room.
They're in the room.
Yeah.
Oh, they're in the room
Yeah,
reflecting.
I think she says like go to your
And
go to your
then-
room.
And that's when they talk about Steph. He's like, Stephanie will protect.
Stephanie will protect.
And there's
us.
this cute little moment with the brother, the little sister, and the brother, Danny, and they're like, are we gonna do that too? Like they just start talking, and it's like it's really sweet because she's comforting him because she's a little girl, but also he's trying to buck up because he's the eldest.
Yeah.
And then all right, so then they find her on the counter, full range of motion squat,
Yeah.
staring at the ceiling, creepy as hell. Loved it. She's like, "What are you looking at?" And then she goes and turns and starts eating glass. And I'm like
she's been eating a wine glass for a while.
But I didn't like the way they just like had her stare off into space. Like, I thought she was gonna say something. You would imagine you would hear chewing while walking in.
I mean, you kind of hear it. You can kind of hear it.
You can hear it when she's staring off like this, like off in the ceiling.
You can hear a little bit, yeah.
That,
you can hear after.
Oh, I don't know.
Did you hear it before?
I could have sworn you hear a little bit of it.
Because I was like, okay, that's pretty cliche thing.
Oh yeah, because she was looking into her left.
She was looking
up at the sky, and I was like,
and she's like, "What are you looking at?" And that scared me because I was like, "What the fuck is she looking at?" Like,
yeah.
I was like, and then she turns around and she goes and she bites into glass, and then she's like, "I gotta get all the little maggots on my tummy."
Because
prior she threw up a bunch of maggots.
Yeah.
Yes, but it also
that scene was cool. Too bad it lasted. Not that scene was in the trailer.
That was the third throw up scene.
Are you talking about the maggots are cool? Or are you talking about her swallowing
glass?
Swallowing glass. I like seeing the glass tear through her throat.
Yeah, she's swallowing the glass. It's like you can see it going down in her throat and cutting her throat up, and it's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
But it was. I mean, it was on the trailer. Nothing.
Oh, I didn't see
nothing too crazy.
So I thought that was awesome. And then we get to the part where what happens? Oh, she attacks.
She pounces on her aunt.
Her aunt Thea, and then what stops her? Daniel comes out. He comes out because he hears the ruckus.
Yeah, but hold on. She pounds on her mom.
And
on her aunt. She's trying to get away. She grabs a cheese grater.
Oh yeah, thank you. Best scene.
Did you think that was a good scene?
Yeah.
Because I saw it in the Red Band trailer, and I was like, I feel like people were like, oh, that scene's gonna be amazing. Like I think a lot of people thought she was gonna like keep scraping at her.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I was like, she's gonna scrape at her once. She's gonna like kick at her and run away, and it's gonna be super quick. Because a lot of the set pieces for like the gore and like the scary stuff,
yes,
they just happen super quick, and that's it.
Yes.
They don't linger on those too much.
That's also because we're veteran horror watchers. Like we would expect that to be quick. I expect it to be quick.
I expect it to be quick.
I expected it to be quick too, but I expected to linger a little bit longer. You know what I mean?
Even a deeper cut.
And here's
or something. You know what I mean?
I do like that they bring the tape back.
What tape?
In 2013, everything was taped.
Yeah, that happened.
In this one, when she gets stabbed with the mirror, she just tapes up her hand.
That was
that's true.
Which I mean, I thought was like, because she goes after,
the little sister you're talking about now, right?
No,
Bridget.
This is earlier, like right after she gets stabbed with the mirror.
Okay, so we're rewinding.
Yeah, so she goes after. What is her name? Bridget. She goes after Bridget, and they're like the aunt's not doing anything, and then the brother steps in.
But
it's like the aunt Beth is like taping up her arm, and I was
yeah, it was a fun.
I thought like it
was funny.
Instinctively, like you would have like, oh, let me help her real quick.
Yeah,
but she was like, let me just tape myself up real quick.
little patch job.
Yeah.
All right, so here's one of the more brutal scenes of the movie. Right, we get the cheese grater. I liked it. I didn't mind it.
I mean, it was for what it was. It was good.
And this is why I wanted to see this opening night, because the audience reaction made that hilarious.
Oh, yeah, an audience reaction.
Everyone's like blood curdle, like
that would have been cool.
We saw it in almost an empty theater today.
Yeah.
But when I initially saw it, I had at least 15 people, which kind of made me sad. I wanted more people, but that initial that tear, it was like everyone. I heard everybody in the audience wince.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's why I wanted.
Everyone's we went inside them a little bit.
Yeah, and then here's the next brutal scene that I thought was just a little much, and this is I want to know your guys' direct opinion of this. Is where the possessed middle child's little sister runs into the room, and Kathy, MLG Pro Gamer main character, puts Steph on.
Cassie.
Thank you. You know how.
Yeah. So she lent the
say what happens.
Possessed demon sister
runs in.
Bridget runs in. She goes straight for Cassie. Cassie, just her Spartan blood kicks in. she points out Stephanie out, and it just immediately stabs through Bridget's mouth.
By the way, did we explain what Stephanie is?
We didn't.
So Stephanie is.
It's pretty selfish.
It's like a broomstick with a doll head at the end of it. That's it. And
Ash has his boomstick.
In the beginning of the movie, Cassie was chasing Bridget around with that, and like it broke. It broke at some point, and it splintered. And in this scene, when she's chasing after Cassie kind of just points the stick in front of her. And then Bridget just runs into the stick.
And stabs straight through the back of her skull.
And through the mouth, through the back of and it was crazy.
Here's now, this is my final thing. I enjoyed the gore in that moment, but I felt too much sympathy for Cassie, the little girl. Because I'm like, normally in a normal scene like this, I'd be like, holy what was that? And this one, I'm like, oh my god, the trauma. I was like, oh my god, the amazing gore. Oh my god, the trauma. And I cared more about the trauma than I did about the gore. So it took my focus away from it. I don't know if that happened to you guys.
How did you guys feel about these characters dying off? Like, did you guys believe it, or are you guys like, oh shit, they're dying off? You know what I mean?
I
Like,
believed
they're
it.
siblings. They love each other, and for some reason, I feel like it wasn't like effective enough seeing their siblings die. You know what I mean?
I think the only one which
Wait,
goes
what do
back
you
to
mean?
the only one that I think about that that had like impact. Going back to what you were saying about just like how traumatized that little girl must
It was
be.
Danny.
It was Danny.
Exactly.
Because he basically says like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was traumatizing. But you don't think stabbing her sister?
Of
her own
course.
sister
No,
to-
yeah, it
No, I
must have
do,
been
but I'm
traumatizing,
saying
but like
they're
her
all
reaction.
For the little girl, I think it's believable because it's like, how do you react to that? Like you don't really know like. How do you process these emotions?
And how did Danny react to Bridget dying? He was like, "Oh, I tied her up." It's like, dude, your sister just died. You know,
Oh, yeah,
like
but he was also
you would be.
practical.
I
think
know,
he'd be
I know.
practical
Still,
in
but
that
it's like
series.
you would be bawling. You know, you would be bawling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so it's like I don't know. I feel like
Oh, he was.
Well, I don't think you can really afford to be sad in like high stress situations like that.
And plus
I know,
He,
I
He
know.
was having a pity party for himself in the previous scene. That's
Sure, yeah,
That's when
yeah.
his little sister cheered him up. He's like, "This is my fault."
Yeah,
And
'cause
she's like, "He."
This is before
This is the moment.
Bridget gets possessed. She goes, "Hey, like this is your fault. Like you
This is
brought
while
this
they're
book
in the
in.
room
You played the
together.
recording.
Yeah.
okay,
And
okay,
then
yeah.
the breaks them up. Say, hey, like, don't you guys ever turn on each other? Like
If
you
you
guys
guys
are
are
family.
confused, I hope you guys watch the movie first.
Yeah, don't treat this as like a straight on review where you're like,
This is
oh,
just
I'll
us
just listen to you guys.
vocalizing it.
I'll just listen to you guys tell the story of the movie because you're not gonna understand anything.
No, it was pretty
Go
good.
into it knowing
but,
the movie. Let's just say that going forward, because let's finish this off.
Yeah.
Because here, I know this is Evil Dead. You guys should expect this to be long. 'cause
Exactly. Yeah.
I have so much to say.
All you ever talk about is 2013 Evil Dead.
I know, and that's why.
And now all you're gonna talk about.
And now we're like an
is-
hour and 30 in, and here we are. So,
Good luck editing, Leo.
yeah. So,
Not editing this one.
Yeah,
All right, so they tied her up.
yeah, so
they-
she's like, oh, like your sister's dead. She's like, they wrapped her up. He's
Now,
like, I
did you
tied her
like-
up. I wasn't sure.
I love the
in case
visual
we
of
need
her
it.
tied up with the wire. It looked terrifying. It looked like this is the embodiment of the situation. My God, was that just me?
Yeah, that
That
was
was
just you.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just
She
you.
was like this. I don't know, fucking blood.
No, she was insane, like in the bag, tied up. Yeah,
Yeah.
you couldn't see her
thought it
arms.
looked great.
Looked like a
It
makeshift,
looked like a
Halloween
body bag.
decoration,
That's pretty
yeah.
much
All
it.
right.
But anyway, so Danny goes with Beth, and they're like, "Hey, we got to play the rest of this."
Like we gotta play the tape.
record.
He's like, no, I don't want to do that. Like this is what caused everything. She's like, well, it might help us fix it. Let's go play the tape.
On, yeah.
So they start playing the tape, and
And that's when we're like, oh, like the aunt's smart because that's what she's listening to.
yeah.
Because like, don't play it on the speaker because that's how you got yourself
Exactly.
influenced.
So in this moment where she's listening to the
Before
record,
Before that, she gives Danny a knife and she goes, hey, like just in case. So Danny's outside standing with Cassie, and Cassie goes, hey, is she gonna turn out like mom? And he
Are
goes,
we gonna be like Mom and Bridget?
yeah. And he's like, I'm gonna be honest, maybe. Like I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. So then two things happen here. Now this is the moment where she puts the headphones on and she now becomes isolated as a character, and they explain what the end result is for this book. Did you guys pay attention to that? Did you guys enjoy that? Did you guys?
I was trying to listen, but it was like,
There's a lot going on.
yeah, there was a lot going on.
Yeah.
I mean,
because he was like, oh, I tried dismembering him, I tried burning him, I tried,
Yeah.
It's like that scene from SpongeBob. It's like, oh, we had so much cash. Like I tried burning it, I tried burying it, I tried this.
yeah,
But he's saying that with
But,
the bodies, and he's like, hey, like none of it worked. They just keep coming back. Like even if like they're just parts, they're just gonna
So-
keep coming back. I'm possessed. Like I'm gonna be messed up soon. Like
So then, did that moment make your guys' hearts drop? Because that's where I was a little torn. Because for me, I was like, oh, okay, we know the rules now. It didn't make me feel anything that much. It was just like, once you're possessed, you're dead. And I was like, oh, they're dead. So
yeah.
then when you said, are they gonna do it? Like, are they gonna take that leap?
Mm-hmm.
That's the moment where I was like, oh, they're just straight up dead.
well, you already saw like them throw a little kid, and he died immediately. So I'm pretty sure nothing was off limits at that point.
Okay, but then you also in that moment I had an epiphany that everybody that was dead in the hallway is now gonna become a dead.
Deadeye.
Yeah, sure.
I expected that to happen to begin with, but how the hell are these three people who are left, a little boy, little girl, Tia, gonna survive this? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like,
Yeah.
it takes me out of it so much.
So there is
Mhm.
one scene that we skipped over, and it's just a little bit important for this next scene. So when they're introducing the neighbors, the old man goes like, "Hey, just listen out for the vents. I lost my cat.
Yeah, the cat's upstairs on the vent.
The cat's in the vents." So the possessed mom here's Kitty, and she goes,
Kitty.
"I have an idea." So she and I don't know, like the whole time I was sitting with another friend of ours, and he was just telling me he saw a smile, and he's like, "Oh, like I looked up, and he's like, I didn't want to watch it because I heard that they kill a cat in that movie." So right when they introduced the cat, I was like, "Don't look, man! Like, don't look. It's not worth it." Nothing happens to the cat.
Yeah, the cat
But,
runs away.
Yeah, so the mom sneaks in through the ceiling, which I thought was really
The vents.
Yeah,
vents.
perfect way to get from the basement or like the isolated area to the main area.
yeah, and it this has nothing to do with anything. It
Yes.
reminded me of the scene from The Amazing Spider-Man with Stan Lee's listening to music and they're
Oh.
fighting in the background. I was like, oh, like
Oh,
something's
I
gonna
can see
happen.
that, yeah.
Something's gonna happen.
Nah,
With
not
it.
really. But anyway,
The lizard versus Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Spider-Man, yeah. So then, what? After that, they basically Bridget. They go look through the peephole or something. Oh, they look through the peephole. The mom's gone because they hear something in the ceiling.
right.
And then they start walking towards their Thea, and then you
And
see
so
Bridget, the
there's
tied
one-
up
yeah.
body.
You see
body
Danny,
bag,
you
Floating.
see Cassie.
well, walking behind them first.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
you see Danny, you see Cassie, and then there's a third member of the family.
Yes,
And
and
we all-
the audience
Yeah,
screamed
exactly.
in that moment for us.
Yeah,
For me, when I watched it, they were like,
yeah, that was
like
cool.
The strangers.
And then
Like, that's hilarious. And
she just starts flying towards Danny,
she flies towards the little one.
little one. Danny gets in the way,
Jumps in the
and
way. and stabs
he
her.
pushes her. He pushed her out of the way. Practically knocks the tooth out for her, but
Yes,
he
And
he
she
holds
gets
the knife
enough
out
weight.
in front of him, and it kind of zooms out. I thought almost for a moment that
He stabbed himself.
he stabbed himself.
Me too. I thought.
yeah,
I,
I
was like,
thought so too. Yeah,
I was like, okay, maybe he's just panicking. But I was like, maybe this thing's a demon, so maybe like, oh god, like,
Yeah,
So
yeah. So he stabs Bridget, and you see the knife, in her.
yes.
So you're like, oh, good, he stabbed her. But it's like, then again, it's like, well, what's good?
What is that
exactly?
gonna
Yeah,
do?
what is that gonna do? So, at that point, what had he like pins Danny down, or he stabs him?
Wait, Danny's the dude.
Bridget, what does he
Bridget,
do
like,
to him?
He stabs her. He's in shock, and then
Bridget
takes it out
Mm-hmm.
and then goes at him with a knife.
Yeah.
In my head, when I saw that, since I watched so much horror, I was like, oh,
She pins him to the counter. Yeah, she pins him to the counter.
she stabs through
She
his
stabs
arm.
him. She's like, you should have put the book down. Danny.
Stabs his arm.
Like, put it back.
Yeah,
I told you.
I told you to put the book back.
I
which-
love that.
Which just like extra emotional damage that
Yeah, but
she's
which
adding on.
demon-
Yeah,
Nice,
she
yeah.
stabs his arm, and then she
Throws up in
throws
his
up
face.
in his face,
And
and,
I like the way
then
they did it behind the
yeah.
because
Yeah.
it would have looked really cheesy for this little girl to like try to do
Yeah. So that looked gruesome too. Then she
then-
stabbed him
And
Through
then
the
that's-
chest.
in the chest. Yeah.
And then based on what we know now, we know for sure that he's now going to become a deadite.
Exactly.
For sure he's dead.
And at that same time, the mom.
he flicked, he gets a can and sprays the fire.
All right. Yeah.
And burns her. And he has this
And
awesome.
she goes down almost immediately.
Yeah.
It's a nice fire stunt, but it looked awkward. Was that just
Yeah,
me?
because it's super quick.
No.
Like I said,
Yeah,
all the,
yeah,
all
yeah,
the
yeah.
set
You're an
pieces-
emotion person. Like
Yeah. No. I mean, like
the
it.
fire, how did it look to you?
Like you mean the CGI?
Yeah, like when he sprays it, the fire looked weird. Then the fire
mean-
still looked amazing. Then when she fell, it was CG again. I was like,
and
what
it was
the heck?
super quick.
Well, it was super quick, so it's like the same thing. The fire was CG. Obviously, it wasn't the best CG, but like since it was super quick, it doesn't bother. What bothered me is like she lit on fire, but as fast as she lit on fire, she like got
She went out?
She went out. So it's like
Yeah, 'cause
shouldn't she?
and we know, and
like,
we,
be on
we
fire
know
for
at
a
this
while?
point that doesn't do anything because they already said like, oh, I tried burning the
Yeah,
possessed and all this stuff.
so we
So
know
it
she's
was-
alive.
Yeah, but
At
it's
least I
just,
would hope
it was
so, the
just
audience.
weird because he lights her on fire. She's up for like a split second and just immediately falls over.
Yes.
And I was like,
What?
you think because the recording he goes, oh yeah, they were like dancing in the flames when I set him on fire. You think she would have just been like, oh, that does nothing to me.
So
I'm immune. I'm fire immune.
yeah,
I'm fireproof now.
and
But as
then
you see her later, you realize.
And
no,
then
she's
we
not
get this
fireproof.
like this kind of this another scene where the mother's now down the vent behind her, and in my head I'm like, okay, I know the tape recording said, or the tape recording, the vinyl
vinyl.
said that they're trying to increase fear, like they like to torment. They said it.
yeah,
I don't know if you heard it. They said that this demon likes to make torment their prey. And I'm like, at what point are they enough tormented? Because she's standing behind her, and I'm like, she's dead. This is over. Game. GG's. Like there's
It's
nothing
funny.
else to do.
Because
Like-
you
and-
see her listening. She's not really paying attention. The mom's behind her. You see her reflection in the mirror,
Yes,
in the window, And my
Behind
first thought
her,
was
yeah.
like, damn, she's huge. Because she's just standing, just in the reflection in the
She's
city.
taller too, yes.
No, I'm just saying, like in the city,
Yes.
you just see her reflection on the.
No,
window,
you
so she
see,
looks like she's a
I
giant.
thought she was like floating. Like it seems like she was floating outside the window, but it was a reflection from behind her inside
Yeah,
the room.
I don't think you guys get what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying. It literally looked like a tie-in because of the reflection. I got it.
Yeah.
I got what you're saying,
You
but
get it. You get it.
But my thing is like in that moment, I was like, the movie's over. She's dead. Like, there's no reason to keep her alive unless it's just for story plot purposes. And this is why this is that final point off my score, is that she gets this shot, right? She surprise attacks her.
Mm-hmm.
She should be dead. She doesn't. She goes and puts her finger on the record. I thought that was hilarious.
Right when she starts playing the record through her mouth, and
I was cracking up.
We thought the same thing. We were just like, oh, it's just Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, it's like
She just play
Stitch, man.
Elvis.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, there's gonna be an edit of her putting her hand on there, and then
Yeah.
it's gonna play Elvis out of her mouth.
I like the way her head was shaking. That was fantastic. I love the act. Like I said, the actress was fantastic.
The actress was amazing.
I love how when she was possessed, when she made expressions. I don't know if you noticed it. She manually like kind of changed focused on changing the top half of her expression, and it stayed while the bottom of her mouth only moved.
Yeah.
That's what made her look possessed. I was like, wow, that's fucking scary.
Yeah.
So that was just a little shout out there. But so immediately after that,
She throws Beth out that room.
yeah, and I'm in
It was
my head, I'm
funny.
like, she should be dead at this
It
point.
was funny because that almost seemed like a comedic moment because she grabs a screwdriver and just stabs
Stabs
her,
her.
and she's like, oh, that's not really gonna do anything
at this
And then
point.
it just hard cuts to the outside of the room and just her getting
Yeah.
tossed out the room.
Yes, and then she's on top of her. What's happening?
And while this is happening, like Danny's getting stabbed and
No, Danny already burnt the other lady.
yeah, well he's already
He's
stabbed.
he's bleeding.
He's bleeding out.
He's bleeding out. He's on the floor like.
So at this point, she has Beth on the floor, and like she's about to like kill her, and she's like, "I'm gonna take your soul." And then she's going down on her stomach. She sniffs her stomach, and then she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna take 2 souls," because
And I don't know if
Beth
you were paying
is.
attention to that, but you noticed they did a heartbeat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course,
that's okay.
yeah. Like she sniffs her stomach, and like you hear like a rapid like little heartbeat, like go 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 go
So
go
now,
go.
did you guys think her nails dug into her skin?
It looked like it,
It
but
looked
I don't
like
think
it
it did.
Because when I saw that, I was like, oh, she's possessed. It's over. The movie's over in my opinion.
When I saw that, I was like, she's gonna rip that fetus out of her. I was
know,
like,
I
this
thought
guy-
she was
but I
dead,
was like,
it's
at
over.
the same time, I was like, I don't think this movie has the balls to do that because
Yeah,
it's like
but at this point in
it'll
the
be
movie, I'm
crazy.
like, the movie doesn't have the balls to fucking kill the little girl at this point.
Yeah,
in
of
my
course.
mind. And keep going.
Yeah, and so like she's like, I'm gonna take your soul, and then she's like, I'm gonna take 2 souls, because she sniffs the little fetus in her. Right when she's like digging her nails into her stomach, the little girl,
Come back with the scissors. Wah!
Yeah,
this is the thing
yeah.
in the
Scissor slides.
first act.
exactly, she
beautiful
slides the
stab.
scissors
Yeah.
across the floor. Beth
She's
grabs
just
the
like- she's
scissors.
Like, Beth, have you ever seen Kill la Kill? And she slides the scissors and she just stabs the mom.
Nobody
in the face.
watches Kill la Kill.
I'm a weave. I got it.
Yeah, you got it.
I appreciate this.
So she stabs her, and then I don't know, like it was weird because she just paused.
Uh-huh.
Like once she got stabbed in the face, she just stopped moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that gave him time to like.
In my
leave.
mind,
Exactly.
it was like a lobotomy almost. It was like, ah, like, because they went straight to her brain.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I was
yeah.
also like, these are demons. What the fuck do they
Yeah.
care?
That also happened to Beth, and she was fine.
Yeah, exactly. So then immediately after,
Not
this is-
Beth.
this is now one of the
Bridget.
hands down best scenes in the movie. Now they're in the hallway. She tells her not to turn around. They're trying to break that door down. Not
To get to
having
the
it
fire
locked.
escape. Yeah.
Yeah, let's get to the fire escape.
The whole basically this is like the peak. This is where the abomination shows up. I don't know what to call it else to call it. And,
I like to call it the Rat King.
I like to call it the family.
all right, cool.
So I call it the Rat King because so pretty much in this scene,
Are you
every
saying the rat
demon?
king or the rat king?
the Rat King.
Oh, because of Last of Us reference.
Do you get
Okay.
you know
Yeah.
why though, right?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, in the Last
I
of
get
Us.
it.
So I'm assuming this movie was being filmed in 2020, the earliest.
So
You know what I
minus
mean?
point for Last of Us.
Yeah, everybody
Part
should
two.
have finished by now. I'm assuming this movie was being filmed in like 2021, 2020. Last of Us 2 came out in like summer of 2020.
Yeah, and they have a monster that looks very similar.
It had
very
something that
similar.
was very similar, and it was played in a parking garage. So it's like
Ooh.
they had to know.
Yeah, well, it
You
almost
know,
like a direct reference. Almost.
Yeah, almost.
But I was okay. So then, how did you enjoy that first Evil Dead reference? Dead by Dawn, Dead by.
Yeah.
That was
my favorite
so
scene.
so literally
That was my
that's
favorite
the
scene.
title of Evil Dead 2.
Uh-huh.
Evil Dead 2 Dead by Dawn. That was this literally the title. The reference that I liked is when everybody was laughing and you see the Danny's what is
Wide eyes or what?
yeah, white eyes. He's like laughing like crazy, smiling. That's
Yeah.
like a reference to like the first movie as well. And it was cool because like you haven't seen those crazy laughing deadites since the OG Evil
That's
Deads.
the original, yes.
So I thought that was like super cool.
That was my favorite scene in the movie.
That was my favorite too. When
that-
everybody was laughing,
Laughing, screaming, and
like
then they're
just
digging
psychotic
into
and
the
stuff.
mom's
Yeah.
just tearing into her.
So they're trying to get in the room,
And now like
and then that's when the other deadites start coming out. Well, first the mom comes out, and then the Beth instinctively she just turns around, shoots her. Her leg is blown off.
Oh yeah, and here's one of the critiques I heard was that it's dumb that they combined bodies because they nerfed themselves. But I completely forgot for some reason that she lost a whole limb.
Yeah.
She shot her leg off.
And her arm off.
And then immediately shot her arm off.
Yeah.
Well, her arm was an accident because
that's true.
She was going for like
kill.
Kill. I mean, you can't really kill
Yeah,
him, but she was trying.
Headshot.
But that's when the old man's like, "Give me back my gun."
That was funny.
Yeah, that's true. And then right after that, they as they're going crazy, Beth and Cassie go inside the elevator.
Yeah, they're like, let's try the elevator.
That's
so
when you
they
find
just
out.
run inside
Yeah.
there.
Oh, they have nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
They just run.
Sure,
in there.
yeah, and
That's the end of the
that's when you
hallway.
find out that the keys are like blocking the door of the elevator from closing.
Okay,
She
yes.
grabs the key, door is closed, but as they're pressing the button to go down, obviously the elevator's not moving.
I thought it
But
was-
you see the
I thought the blood
the
stopped it. From
siblings are clawing at her mom. They're all laughing. Everyone,
Yeah, of course.
Everything's insane.
Going. I
Now-
loved how ruthlessly disgusting that was. I was like, man.
So here's my question: the abomination that they turned into, was that only the mom and the siblings?
it was
Yes.
only the mom. And the
Okay, that
siblings.
makes sense because then I saw the other deadites like knocking at the elevator, and I'm like, wait, weren't they just over there turning into that
No.
like that
No,
crazy
it's
thing?
just the
Because when the abomination is clawing inside the elevator trying to get in, like there was some outside, and I was like, wait a minute, like
And that's what bugged me because I was like, that means there's how many deadites up there, and they're just there.
They're just there. I
They're
guess
just-
they're just hanging out.
oh yeah,
I'm
that's
like,
true because they didn't
why wouldn't they
didn't
have
die.
gone down-
Exactly, they didn't die.
Down in the fucking basement with everybody else.
Exactly.
Who says they
So
didn't?
They didn't because we had this whole.
Because
little
the
sneaky
elevator
back and forth thing
was
fell.
closed, so they couldn't really go through the elevator.
Yeah,
to
but they
get down
climbed
to the
through a vent. Their 3-person body disfigurement went
they
through the
tried
vent.
climbing through the vent, but then the blood was filling up the elevator, and as the blood's filling through the elevator, you see it like
You hit the weight limit.
you hate the weight limit, and then it cuts to black, and then you hear cable snapping.
Okay.
You cut to the parking garage, and that's when the doors like kind of like crash open, and they
And
come
then the
like
shiny reference.
yeah, the shiny reference. All this blood comes out. Cassie and Beth are all
Yeah,
like sliding
this is
down.
the only part I heard you audibly laugh at in the theater.
Me?
Is when
Oh yeah,
the,
little girl.
the little girl's like
She's like, "Am I
she's
dead?"
not moving, she's not responding. The aunt's like trying to wake her up. Everyone's covered in blood at this point.
They
And
look
the
dead.
The aunt's trying to wake her up, and the little girl kind of like starts moving. She goes, "Am I dead?"
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that was the only part I heard you laugh at.
I'm gonna rewind just a second earlier when they come out. The Danny and Bridget come out and are crying over the corpse of their mother, the dead.
Oh,
mother.
like they're like
and then they start laughing.
Yeah, that was really awesome.
It was
That was great.
It was
Yeah.
Okay, good. I just want to hear you guys say. it was
No,
awesome.
of course.
Okay. Like,
And then
like I know it was awesome. I just want to make sure you.
Yeah,
guys know it was
no,
awesome.
no.
Validate me, please.
but in the parking garage, that's they get in a car. They started and they start driving, but something like grabs into the car. They try to
No,
opening the gate.
They runs like a pothole, pretty much.
Oh, is that what it was?
I'm pretty sure.
Because the earthquake caused holes in the floor.
Oh,
And that's why I was like, they better not do that. Stupid
I thought,
cliche where you
yeah.
can't turn on the car.
Yeah.
They turn on the car. They back it up. The beeper. They're like, come on, and it goes. I'm like, good. They didn't know the dumb cliches. Step on the gas, and then their tire goes into the.
oh, that's what it was. Okay.
And I started laughing because I was like, that's a fun way to like do.
So they
that.
get out of the car and they start like
No, she says they're coming. She's coming.
Yeah.
And then you hear the grab that like hit the back of the car, and
Uh-huh.
they immediately jump out the side door.
right. And then right
And
there
it's like a
they're
sneaky session.
yeah, it's just
Yeah.
like they're trying
And
to go
then
around the
I
car.
was thinking immediately. So two things came to my mind: Jurassic Park and Aliens. The one where
And-
Ridley's with the little girl.
And I couldn't believe that they slowed things down that much again. To go,
It did feel
For a little
slow.
bit, for a little bit.
Yeah, but I'm like, at this point, that door's about to shut. This thing's right next to you. You have a shotgun. You have the little girl. You have to do something.
They ran to the
And they
door that
just-
was
they just
opening.
hid.
Yeah.
until it started closing and it forced them.
Start
Mhm.
closing. They make a run for it. They're like you've seen Indiana Jones, right? Like just dive. So they dive. They both almost make it out. Then they pull the little girl out.
And here's
And in my mind, I'm like, that's it. Like that's the movie. Like just keep going. Like she's gone.
Yeah,
Like,
but like
just leave.
she goes back for the little girl. She breaks the little opening over there on the side of the gate.
Now, was that believable to you that she made it back in time? I thought they were gonna kill the little girl in that moment.
I mean, not really, because it's
I really
like it's
thought
like
they
if
were
you
gonna
could have
do it.
just broken into like that side of the gate, you should have just done that from the beginning instead of like trying to like open up the beeper, with the gate. It's like okay.
I mean, the beeper was the easiest solution. So it's like,
I guess,
let
sure.
me use the beeper because that opens the door.
But like the big abomination grabs the girl, throws her into like this truck in the back of a truck, and like she's like, and then they grabs a chainsaw,
yeah. So
turns a chainsaw on, and they try to like
when I when they first introduced the garage in the scene, right? I'm looking around and I see the wood chipper. I was like, that's definitely coming back.
Yeah, I thought I was like, yeah, that's definitely coming back.
The truck and it has a chainsaw. I was like, oh, is that the reference to the original Evil Dead? Turns out there's just an actual chainsaw in there, and I was like, okay, like, well, they're gonna go full reference. I guess they're just gonna go full reference.
But you see what I mean by the plot armor, though. Like that little girl should have been dead.
Yeah, of course, sure. Like, and then like the abomination just goes like, I just want your little head. That's all. And then like it just turns on the chainsaw, gets close to her neck, and
Hold
then
it there for about 5
and
minutes
then Beth shoots the abomination in the back, turns around, and then the little girl gets out of the car, goes under the car, hides. And then the abomination like kind of like, I thought this was funny. It just throws the chainsaw at Beth.
Yeah,
and
I was oh, it's gonna be a showdown. She's like, no, like,
and she dodges it, but dodging it like she falls back.
She falls. She drops the shotgun.
Yeah, and chainsaw goes over there.
Two things next to her, right? There's a chainsaw that's already on, like it's not like buzzing, but it's already on. Yeah. And then there's the shotgun. So what I thought was gonna happen was I was like, oh, they're probably gonna like, oh, like she's gonna use the chainsaw because of its Evil Dead. And I was like, no, she's probably going to go for the shotgun. She's going to shoot them into the wood chipper, and that's how they're going to kill this thing. But they went just like, oh, let me get the chainsaw. Which I thought was not the best choice.
Now, what did you... No, here's my final question here. What did you guys think of that final fight?
It was pretty good.
You liked it?
I liked it a lot.
I thought it was...
I didn't like it too much.
I thought it was weak.
I mean, it was cool because it's like, you know, like...
Everything you just said is exactly why I didn't like it that much.
You can't...
Because I was like, okay. Like,
you can't finish these movies on a high note, I don't think. Because the last movie,
read my mind.
The last movie, 2013...
Yeah, the last fight was pretty... It was better. It was a lot better.
Oh, it's the entity. Like, this is the demon that, like, they did a ritual for.
Okay.
And she cuts it with a chainsaw. And that's it. It's gone.
No, but the whole fight was amazing. The whole back and forth, her crawling through the hole, the same hole that
the
dog died.
Yeah, but
she
like...
tears off her own arm. She gets stabbed with a machete and then goes and rips her from the middle up. That was extravagant and amazing.
Yeah, I mean, in this one, like, she just, like, shoots her.
Was she not?
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. I like I said, I don't feel like the demon... I like the...
You also got to remember, this movie was going to go straight to streaming.
What? No.
Yeah, this movie originally...
Was it originally supposed to do that?
Yeah, and then they switched it like, you know what? That's make
weak.
It to theaters.
Well, okay,
of course it was weak.
I didn't know that.
The reason they probably did that... The reason they probably did that was because when they were filming, it was during COVID. So they were like, oh, let's just release this.
Yeah, I know,
Once
but
theaters started opening up.
When they released the
really?
first...
That's a scenario for
No. When they released the first promo picture, it was around... January. In January, they released this January. They released the first promo picture, which was just a picture of the mom looking through the peephole, and that was still like, oh, it's going to HBO Max. It was still when the trailer was released. That's when they're like, okay, it's going to theaters.
Okay, I didn't know that because the first time I heard about this movie coming out was on the podcast with you guys.
Exactly.
And you guys told me
that's when I heard about it.
And then my hype went elevated to beyond belief.
That was at that
here
point.
I am at this point right now.
Yeah, no, at that point it was going to go to HBO. So this whole movie was filmed, you know, for streaming services. That's why it didn't have that big of a budget, but I feel like they worked a lot with what they had, and it worked out.
The thing I like about the Evil Dead franchise is you don't need a big budget, and
exactly.
It's fine.
So it's like, it doesn't matter if they decided last minute or like they decided like a year ago to go to streaming. When they were filming this movie, they were filming it for streaming services.
Okay, so then finish this off because I know we're at the end and I know everybody's got to go home and sleep. It's midnight, all that. Wood chipper turned on by one arm. Little girl turns it off. I thought that was pretty cool the way she kicks the blades off. And she gets out. Then it climbs down and then they turn the wood chipper back on and it eats up half of them. The other part looked amazing.
Yeah, that looked amazing.
The cheesy part for me was the fact that she stabbed it through the head with a chainsaw.
That was unnecessary.
I felt like they were trying to
I was like, she should have just like Spartan kicked it in, which I guess they kind of redeemed after.
I liked it. I liked that part. But
are you talking about the chainsaw or where she just kicks her?
The kicks. I like the kick.
The kick.
I thought the chainsaw to the head was kind of silly, and I was like, okay. I feel like they're trying to bring it up. They're trying to elevate it.
They're trying to elevate it, and I think the line was like, "Only my sister can call me that." That was super cheesy.
Yeah, that's funny though.
Sure, yeah. And then she kicks her into the wood chipper, and she starts like chainsawing her head. And then as she's chainsawing her head, the wood chipper's like ripping her in half. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, and
you
then
know?
she's just ahead.
Practical.
And she's just ahead, and then like the head just starts insulting her.
Yeah. Before she can finish the insult, just like
She kicks her inside the wood chipper, and that's that. And
And
then
the end of the movie is the same. Where the story ends where it begins.
yeah, so
And
it's
I was
like you see,
okay,
yeah.
Like I could,
so Auntie Beth.
Yeah,
and
make
little
it,
Cassie
make
walk
it
into the
a quick
sunset,
thing.
And they walk to the sunset. And it's like okay, and then the movie ends like oh, like meanwhile on the 5th floor, like the next day she's like yeah. It's like we're gonna go to a cabin, whatever. Like we're gonna have fun. It's like we didn't have cell service all night last
Yeah,
night.
it's
but
like, but I hate
whatever.
your boyfriend, this and that.
Yeah, or
yeah.
whatever.
And she says the thunder kept me up all night.
Yeah. Long story short,
But
it's the people from the opening scene
Which we
living in the
knew.
same apartment. Yeah, of course, but it's like here's my problem with that. You didn't hear all that crazy shit that went down in your apartment building.
I think that's believable because they're.
I don't
they're
think that's believable
Three
a
stories
lot.
down.
Because they were on floor 5 where the incident happened, right? Or no,
No,
they were on
floor 8 was
floor 8.
what was happening.
And then because it wouldn't make sense. She took the elevator. It was broken. She took the stairs down. And I was like, how did she take the stairs down?
Because the stairs were only down for the 8th floor.
Exactly. That's fine. That's fine.
But I'm
But
saying that there's 3 stories between them.
you're trying to tell me that she didn't hear the mom screaming like crazy enough to break windows, crazy enough for other people on the other side of the hallway to
Okay.
hear.
Yeah, I guess.
Other side of the
She
hallway
did.
is
You
different
didn't.
from
You,
3
you
stories
didn't.
down.
You didn't tell me that she didn't hear the elevator
Maybe she
crash.
had her AirPods in. Like if
You didn't tell me that she didn't hear the elevator crash twice, upstairs and downstairs. You didn't
So
tell me she
you're-
heard
you're on
that
the
thing
5th floor.
screaming.
You're on the 5th floor, right?
The shotgun
If
shells,
something- if
like
something
it's
heavy
like
falls.
you'll
5
feel
floors
it.
below you.
No,
or-
you'll
or
feel
5
it.
floors above you. You're not gonna hear that.
I get
But
it,
you'll
you did,
feel
I
it.
agree
But
with
you'll
Raven.
feel if there's 900 pounds of weight crashing to the bottom of the building, you'll feel that.
I mean, you'll
Oh,
feel that not
building.
as much as the earthquake. that
Especially
happened.
especially in an old building. Like I'm saying, like the elevator dropped like 8 floors.
8 floors.
It
Eight
dropped
floors, yeah.
8. That means it went through her floor as well. So
yeah, but it's not like you're
900
She's
pounds
not
of,
gonna be
of
like
weight.
right next to the elevator and be like.
Doesn't
like,
have-
what was
Her
that?
room was on the opposite side of the elevator. That's why she didn't hear that.
I don't know, but
I'm
whatever.
trying to justify
It's
it, you know what I mean?
point being that was the end of the movie. I recommend it still.
Okay, so then now after a full review of everything we just did, has anyone's opinion changed?
No,
Mine's changed because I was like, oh, you're just a dumb kid. But
Yeah.
then you kind of being like, oh yeah, like well, he's probably just trying to help provide for his family because his mom's struggling.
Yeah.
Their dad's gone or whatever. That makes more sense. The whole like, oh, like this book is made of like skin and teeth. I'm gonna look through it. I still think that's stupid.
Fair enough. Fair enough critique.
I still give it an 8 out of 10, Bobby.
All right, so nothing's changed for you. Just
Nothing's
8 out of 10.
changed,
I'm
yep.
still at 8 out of 10. Like you said, 8.5 is kind of like it's right there. It's right in the middle, of like that 8.
Because you moved up to 8.5,
Yeah.
and then I moved up to 8.5. But now it's kind of mellowed out. Now that we're relaxing
Now
a little
that-
bit
yeah,
from
now
how
that-
good a
yeah.
movie, it's back to an 8.
But that's the thing is it just teeters because the thing is that this movie wasn't. It was great, but it wasn't like amazing. And
Yeah.
Are you guys all
Now
on
you
the
also
same
got to
page?
remember that they filmed this movie for streaming services.
That's fine, but I'm saying even.
I mean, they filmed the movie.
So
I'm not saying
Raymond
like,
brought up the point
Sure,
that like,
yeah.
the first movie was a low budget, and look how amazing that turned out.
yeah,
Like,
sure.
but that was
there's-
more of like a cult following.
But
thing.
if
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
passion and there's love in it, you can feel it, and you did feel it. But it just felt so awkward with their timing of things happening throughout the film. It was fast, slow, fast, slow, fast, slow. So, again, maybe I'll include at the end of this my reaction, beginning to, like maybe something. But I don't know. I would strongly recommend it to watch if you love horror. Don't go in with my same expectation because apparently
Go
mine
in
were way too
expecting a
damn
fun
high.
movie. How about that?
Yeah,
Yeah, going for a fun time, not a great time.
there you go. All right,
It's a fun movie, yeah.
there you go. So, now you guys want closing thoughts before we start saying goodbye to everybody?
I mean, stick with the 8 out of 10.
All right, then. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for listening. If you listened to this far, we appreciate you. We appreciate your time, effort, all that stuff.
I don't think anybody stuck this far.
And if you didn't listen this far, screw you. You're not gonna hear this.
I don't blame them. All right.
All right.
That's it. I love you guys.
All right, thank
Take
you for
care.
listening. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.
You sons of a bitches. We